What if Naruto was trained by Aizen? Chapter 1. Outcast Boy. Konoha is 52 years old. The lively and bustling Konoha street is full of people coming and going. The Nine Tails Rebellion 4 years ago brought heavy losses to Konoha. Countless ninjas died, and many families lost their parents and children. Even the top powerhouse who made great achievements in the battlefield, the fourth Hokage, died because of sealing Kyuubi. For the villagers of Konoha, that night was a night of disaster. 4 years have passed, and the village has regained its vigor and vitality. But the pain of the past has not been forgotten. Instead, it is hidden in everyone's heart and will explode at any time like a time bomb. They hated the nine-tailed demon fox and wished they could swallow it alive. At this moment, Naruto Uzumaki, the nine-tailed demon fox in their eyes, walked into the street. Wearing a neat white robe, he behaved elegantly and confidently, with a gentle smile on his face, like a handsome young man. This kind of temperament and appearance are touted wherever they are placed, but they are not welcomed by the villagers. Most of the villagers froze, a trace of disgust flashed in their eyes, they turned their heads and stopped looking. A small number of villagers cursed in a low voice, "Damn nine-tailed demon fox. Why isn't this monster dead yet? It's that monster. My son died because of him. I don't understand why Hokage-sama didn't execute him. This needless kindness is disgusting. Shish, do you still dare to question Hokage's actions? He must have had some consideration in making such a decision. In addition, there will be very few people who will nod slightly to this small figure. Although there is not much kindness on their faces, at least there is no malice." Naruto Uzumaki came to a familiar vegetable stall and asked softly. "Sorry to bother you, Mama Tanaka, I want to buy some vegetables." Unlike those villagers whose families were crippled by the Nine Tails Rebellion, Aunt Tanaka had just moved to Konoha a year ago, so she couldn't empathize with the villagers' pain. She was impressed by Naruto Uzumaki, a well-mannered kid. Although he is only 4 years old, he has the maturity of an adult. Aunt Tanaka vaguely remembers the first time she saw Naruto. At that time, the villagers threw rotten eggs and all kinds of rotten vegetables at Naruto Uzumaki. The thin boy didn't dodge, let the egg liquid bloom on his body, still kept a gentle smile on his face, and kept bowing towards the surroundings. Apologize. "I'm sorry, Nine Tails caused you so much pain in the past, I'm sorry, but I am Uzumaki Naruto now, I am not Nine-tailed demon fox." Repeating such words in his mouth, under the endless malice, the little figure is so helpless, but at the same time he still maintains politeness. The viciousness of life places children who should have had childhood in a cruel reality. Vicious words tempered his will. Make him grow into a little adult. Aunt Tanaka heard before that Konoha is the richest and most humane village among all shinobi villages. But everything she saw was far from what she knew. A 3-year-old kept bowing and apologizing. It's painfully humble. The surrounding villagers all showed ugly mouth corners. He lashed out at the child with vicious words that he had never thought of. This scene was imprinted in Aunt Tanaka's mind for a long time. From then on, she will always secretly take care of Uzumaki Naruto. Take it and go. She stuffed a bag of vegetables into Uzumaki Naruto's arms. "Thank you, I'm sorry to bother you." Uzumaki Naruto put away the bag, thanked Aunt Tanaka, and then crossed the street without haste, disappearing from everyone's sight. With the departure of Uzumaki Naruto, the street returned to its former laughter. Cross the street and return to your own dwelling. At the age of 3, Naruto couldn't stand the babysitter's petty actions, and moved to a new home to live alone after discussing with the third Hokage. The new home is not big, only a bed, a table and a simple stove. But it has met all the needs of Naruto for life. Open the bag, besides fresh vegetables, there are some eggs inside. I believe that Aunt Tanaka has already prepared the bag before, just wait for yourself to come. In this indifferent village, this love is extra precious. The corners of Naruto's mouth curled into a gentle arc, he got up and came to the stove, holding a kitchen knife and gracefully flung out beautiful cuts. Cutting vegetables, heating oil in a wok, and frying vegetables, a set of actions are done in one go, flowing smoothly. The biggest difference between a wise man and a barbarian is that they behave elegantly and confidently, unlike barbarians who only bark. Simple stir-fried vegetables and fried eggs come together in no time. Naruto sat down at the table and quietly enjoyed his dinner. The disgust and rejection of the villagers will not affect his mood. He will always maintain a polite personality until he is accepted by all villagers. While enjoying the dinner, Naruto's thoughts drifted further and further away. I vaguely remember the past. These villagers would attack themselves with the most vicious words whenever they took to the streets. At that time, I was helplessly escaping and fearful. My heart is full of puzzlement. I obviously didn't do anything, why everyone hates me. So he started playing silly pranks. Trying to get everyone's attention by grandstanding. Unexpectedly, the method of Yu reading www.uakanshu.com made the villagers loathe themselves even more. Even those who used to just look at each other with indifferent eyes began to speak ill at each other. During that time, I fell into despair, almost living like a year. Until I saw Mr. Aizen himself. That gentle and refined man who always maintains his demeanor. That's what he told himself. Be a wise man in control of the overall situation and control your own destiny. A strong man never humbly begs for attention. From then on, he began to imitate Aizen, trying to be gentle and graceful. He used all his living expenses to order a white robe of the same style, for which he also ate instant noodles for several months. He greeted everyone politely, and even when they cursed in return, he kept smiling. He has learned to hide his emotions. Up to now, although the attitude of the villagers is still not good, at least some people have greatly improved their views on themselves. Life made him mature, and malice made him see the reality clearly. Muye Village and the so-called Will of Fire are not open to themselves. I am just a nine-tailed demon fox. Thinking of this, the corners of Naruto's mouth suddenly curled up in a mocking arc. The pattern of Konoha is too small. I should have reached a higher level like Mr. Aizen. Naruto finished the last bite of vegetables, stood up, his eyes were slightly sharp and unkind. But such eyes flashed by, and the next moment, the gentleness of the past was restored. Put on a flawless smile in the mirror. Muttering to himself. My smile is perfect now, I have to keep it up. Chapter 2. Encounter with Aizen. Naruto still remembers the first time he met Aizen. At that time, he was ending a miserable day when several children from the same village teamed up and beat him up. He dragged his bruised body back to the hut, had a meal of instant noodles, wiped his body casually, and was ready to sleep. Naruto discovered the difference between himself and ordinary students when he was young. No matter how bad the injury is, the bruises on the body will disappear the next day, and the physical strength will also recover. This also means that he is not an ordinary person. Perhaps, as the villagers said, he is the nine-tailed demon fox. With complicated thoughts in mind, he fell into a deep sleep. Immersed in consciousness, being sucked into a mysterious space. Ding dong. The sound of dripping water woke Naruto up. He opened his eyes in confusion, and what he saw was a dark and cold basement. Where is this? Naruto asked confused. Obviously he was still sleeping, but the next moment he came to a strange space. Is anyone there? He yelled, his voice echoing in the space. Relying on the dim light, Naruto groped forward, the cold air made him hug his arms, his eyes filled with fear. Soon, he fumbled to an iron gate. There is a seal on it. Through the dim light, a figure appeared. Wearing a white robe, brown curly hair, a gentle smile that is always confident, and a pair of unpredictable eyes hidden under the glasses. Aizen. Full name, Aizen Soyusuke, from the world of death, the former captain of the 13th team of Guti, the 5th division, who later betrayed the world of souls and became the ruler of the virtual circle. On the surface, he is elegant and gentle, but in reality he is cold and ambitious. He has only one goal, to surpass death and pursue supreme power. He regards everyone around him as pawns that he can manipulate at will. After gaining supreme power, he became even more conceited and arrogant, defeating the gods of death one after another who blocked his way. But in the end he was defeated by Kurosaki Ichigo, who was trained as Moonless, and was imprisoned in the deepest hell. This is Aizen's original life, but now he is still the powerful and polite captain of the 5th team in the Shinigami team. In the sealed space, facing the bewildered Naruto, Aizen adjusted his glasses, his brown eyes flickering non-stop. I don't know when it started, every time he fell asleep at night, his consciousness would come to this dark space. There will be a light curtain in front of you, in which are bits and pieces of Naruto Uzumaki's life. In this way, Aizen watched Naruto's life from the sidelines, was controlled by high-level officials, was bullied by the villagers as a demon fox, and suffered all kinds of indifference and malice. With Aizen's wisdom, he soon understood that Naruto was a terrifying force for Konoha's senior management. In order to control Naruto, they made Naruto a nine-tailed demon fox hated by all villagers, so that they could become Naruto the Light. This is a very low-level brainwashing method. Call it clumsy. Naruto, who grew up in this environment, can easily develop hatred towards the village, and even go berserk. But what's incredible is that Naruto didn't hate Konoha, and even aspired to become Hokage. Hokage is the name of a ninja village leader. What Aizen knows about Naruto is just the tip of the iceberg in the entire ninja world, and he is full of interest in this unknown world. Before, he had persecuted Mako Hirako, the former captain of the 5th Division, and turned him into an experiment of the illusion of the God of Death, in order to find the possibility of breaking through the power of the God of Death. Now, he wants to learn the secrets of the ninja world through Naruto's perspective, and find the power to surpass the of death. In this world, there is no world of corpses and souls, no of death, let alone the power system of the world of of death, Reiatsu. In its place are ninjas and chakras. Each ninja can use chakra to use ninjutsu with different attributes. It's a pity that Naruto has never seen ninjutsu used. Aizen understands. Uzumaki Naruto's level is not enough. Or, when he grows up, he will be able to get in touch with mysterious ninjutsu. For now, Aizen is more curious about ninjutsu than desire. But this is the system of another world after all, and there must be many places worth exploring and understanding. Naruto, as Aizen's eyes, needs to grow up properly. So Aizen showed the elegant appearance that he had been pretending to be all along. He greeted Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto, I finally see you. You know me. Naruto was surprised. Of course, you like instant noodles, hate drinking expired milk, and hate everyone's hostile eyes, and want to become Hokage. Aizen's voice was full of magnetism. I know you better than you think, and I care about you, Naruto. The phrase, I care about you very much, immediately made Naruto's eyes wet. Except for 3 generations of grandpas, this is the first person who treats him like this. No, this Mr. Aizen understands himself better than 3 generations of grandpas. By the way, my name is Aizen Soyusuke, you can call me Aizen. Meeting Aizen was easy. He illuminates the world of Naruto like a ray of light. With the help of Aizen, Naruto began to read books and try to think independently. Sometimes what your eyes see isn't real. Why do you, who are regarded as a 9-tailed demon fox, have a human body? Why are you so weak that even children can be bullied? Every world has its own rules, and you will be bound by the rules when you live in this world. Konoha is an umbrella for you, but it is also a place that restricts you. Will you choose to abide by the rules or jump out of the rules and become the maker of the rules? At that time, Aizen always spoke incomprehensible words with deep eyes. Naruto didn't understand at first, but now, he also began to try to think. How to break away from the essence of events to see the truth. How to understand the situation you are in, you reading www.uakanshu.com and make the most perfect response. Naruto lost his childishness and innocence, became elegant, and at the same time became silent. He continued to grow in his studies, and he also became deeply curious about Lan Ran. I don't know if it is an illusion. Naruto always felt that this elegant and gentle man had another side. He is so unfathomable. I always feel that what I see is not the real side of Aizen. Mr. Aizen, why did you help me? One day, Naruto asked what was hidden in his heart. Aizen appeared in the sealed space inexplicably, and taught himself very gently. If it was before, he would be so grateful, wishing to regard Aizen as his god. But now, he can think instead. There is no absolute selfless help in the world. There must be something Mr. Aizen wants in me. Facing Naruto's question, Aizen showed a smile. Being able to ask this question, it seems that you are no longer the Uzumaki Naruto you used to be. I come from another world, and my purpose is simple. 1. Understand the secrets of ninjutsu through your eyes, maybe it can be my help in the future. 2. Your life is a spice for my boring life. I want to see how Naruto, who escaped from the conspiracy, will treat Konoha and subvert the world. 3. As far as my personal preference is concerned, I hate Konoha very much, because their methods are too clumsy and stupid, so they simply help you. The memory is over. Naruto's mouth curled up slightly. In any case, it is an indisputable fact that Aizen has been kind to him. Without him, I might still aspire to become Hokage, now. Chapter 3. I want to be Hokage. Dang, clang, clang. Suddenly there was a knock on the door, and Naruto opened it, and there stood an old man in a red and white Hokage robe, a bamboo hat, and a pipe in his mouth. Konoha is the current Hokage, and the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Good evening, Grandpa of the third generation. Naruto smiled when he saw the person coming, and his tone was full of respect. Naruto, I didn't bother you. Sandai said happily, taking a puff from his pipe. Today he saw what happened to Naruto on the street through the crystal ball. Although it is still hated by most villagers, the attitude of some villagers has greatly improved. I don't know when, Naruto became more polite, and even changed his attire. Kyuubi Jinchuriki's personality and behavior have changed, which is not good news for him. This means that the unknown increases. Thinking of this, Sandai's eyes darkened a bit. But soon restored a kind smile. Third generation Grandpa, please come in. You are busy on weekdays. It is very rare to take time to visit me. Why bother me? Naruto led the third generation into the room and handed him a glass of water. Naruto had a gentle smile on his face and a refined demeanor. For a moment, his face overlapped with Namikaze Minato's. The third generation looked absent-minded for a while, and couldn't help sighing. Naruto, you've really grown up. People will always grow up. I used to be too naive, so I was hated. Now I want to be like the fourth Hokage, gentle and kind. I want to be recognized by everyone and become Hokage. Naruto's words. Zongman is full of vision for the future. Really, Minato is your idol. Sandai muttered to himself, guilt flashed across his eyes. It is clear in my heart. It seems that Naruto was influenced by the book, Hokage, and decided to become Hokage like Minato. From this point of view, he has a lot to bear at such a young age. He rubbed Naruto's head distressingly, and said in a warm voice, Naruto, the 3 generations of grandpas will often come to see you in the future. You have to remember that you are not alone. I will always be your strongest backing. So that I can be your only light. Single quote. Grandfather of the 3rd generation, don't underestimate me, I'm going to become Hokage. Naruto took a deep breath, his eyes full of hope. Grandfather of the 3rd generation, as you said, where the leaves dance, the fire is always alive. The fire will continue to illuminate the village and make new leaves sprout. I want to be that fire, dedicate myself, and ignite the leaves. Naruto's sincere speech moved Midai a little. Minato, Naruto is really exactly like you. Is this your last gift to the village? Naruto, if you need anything, feel free to tell the 3rd generation grandpa. The 3 generations feel even more guilty. Okay, thank you 3rd generation grandpa, there is no need for now. 3rd generation grandpa, you should also take care of your health, don't work too hard, and protect everyone. I am Hokage, and it is my responsibility to protect everyone. Sandai replied cheerfully, taking a puff from his pipe. When Sandai still wanted to chat with Naruto about homework and gain a deeper understanding of Naruto's psychological state, a black-clothed Anbu appeared next to Sandai and whispered a few words. The 3rd generation's expression changed, and he immediately got up. Naruto, I will come to see you next time. Naruto still maintains a perfect smile on his face, apparently accustomed to this scene. For these ninjas, getting in and out of their homes is a breeze. Naruto knew that his life was also under the surveillance of these ninjas. Naruto obediently sent Sandai to the door, watching Sandai's slightly hunched body disappear into the night. The smile on his face gradually disappeared, and his eyes became cold. My performance this time should be very satisfactory to the 3rd generation, and the supplies should be delivered more frequently in the future. Although the 3rd generation didn't come to Naruto's small house very often, they would occasionally send some supplies. The last supply was the book, The Will of Fire. As Naruto said before, where the leaves dance, the fire is also alive. This is the core of the Will of Fire that Hokage has always advocated. The general meaning is to abandon all prejudices, burn yourself, and take care of the younger generation's selfless dedication. However, Naruto didn't feel the will of fire. He thought he had done nothing wrong, but he kept being unfairly looked down upon and insulted. Everyone can't wait to tear themselves apart. If it weren't for the protection of the Anbu ninja, he might have died. Aizen once taught Naruto, the best way to control a person is to destroy his will first. This is so similar to my own situation. Whenever I feel depressed, the third generation will always appear, coincidentally, to comfort myself and instill the will of fire. What is the difference between such behavior and brainwashing? This makes me how to identify with Konoha, how to identify with the will of fire. Naruto doesn't know what he will do in the future, but now, in order to hide, he will always keep a perfect smile and touch the villagers with sincerity. Thinking of this, Naruto sat down, opened the Will of Fire, and carefully read it at reading www.uakanshu.com. This is the 38th time. Only by thoroughly familiarizing yourself with it can you not show flaws in your daily life. True pretense is forgetting who you are. Naruto has started reading The Will of Fire again. At the same time, in the Hokage office, Anbu reported Naruto's movements in time. Naruto, you really inherited the will of fire. The third generation blinked and murmured. Danzo heard, Naruto may be the successor of the will of fire even better than Minato. Sandai looked proud. It shows that my decision was correct. HMPH. In the corner of Hokage's office, a one-eyed old man leaning on a cane and covered in bandages snorted coldly. You are too soft-hearted, Hiruzen, you should give Naruto to our roots, and I will train him into a perfect weapon of war. This is a foolproof decision. It is impossible for Naruto to be handed over to Genbu. He is the only son of Minato. I want to explain to Minato. Confession. Hehe. Danzo sneered. If that's the case, you wouldn't let Naruto be in such a situation. Risen, you actually understand that Naruto's home is at the root, and I will train him to be the most perfect tool. Quote. Danzo, Naruto is not a tool for the roots. Sandai's face turned cold. Where there is light, there must be darkness, but Naruto will be in the light and inherit the will of fire. Danzo, you have to remember, I am Hokage. HMPH, Rizan, you will regret it. Danzo took a deep look at Sandai, and walked away angrily. Hokage, it's Hokage again. The desire for Hokage in my heart expanded again. Chapter 4, Reiatsu Awakening. At night, with the sound of cicadas outside the house, most of the villagers have already fallen asleep. Naruto knew that the ninja monitoring him was still working hard to work overtime. The will of fire is really beneficial to people. He closed the book and sighed exaggeratedly. Arrange the books, wash and go to bed. Ding dong. In the dream, the familiar sound of water droplets woke Naruto up. Naruto opened his eyes, and it was the familiar cold dungeon again. He quickly got up and walked towards the iron gate with ease. Mr. Aizen, here I come. Coming to the iron gate, through the dim light, he saw Aizen sitting cross-legged on the ground. Brown hair and brown eyes, wearing black-rimmed glasses, slender bangs hanging down to the eyes, gentle face, like a landscape. Yo, Naruto, I've seen it all before, you did a good job, you have learned to hide your emotions now. Aizen praised without hesitation. Thanks to Mr. Aizen, without Mr. Aizen's teaching, I am still that stupid Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto sat down in front of the iron gate. I just acted as a push. Aizen shook his head. You are very smart, Naruto. I see in you the potential to subvert Konoha. Me. Naruto pointed at himself in disbelief. This was the first time he had received such a compliment, and he felt a little joyful. Of course, never underestimate yourself, Naruto. Aizen's eyes were deep, and he was sure that there was a terrifying power in Naruto's body that even he dared not underestimate. That power may be the one that Konoha's senior management is afraid of and trying to control, the nine-tailed demon fox. He is looking forward to seeing Naruto's future. Do you want to be the underdog who abides by the rules, or go to the end of the rules? Before that, I will provide Naruto with learning resources and let him develop. Perhaps in the future, he can be his help beyond the boundaries of death. Let's start today's study. Aizen waved his right hand. A few more books suddenly appeared in front of Naruto. These are textbooks for high school students collected by Aizen from the present world, involving not only language and mathematics, but also psychology, sociology and other fields. He wants Naruto to receive an education in an advanced society and open up his mind. Certainly. Naruto was self-taught throughout the whole process, and Aizen didn't have that much thought about one-on-one teaching. He picked up a book at random and read it with a smile on his lips. Although the human beings in this world are weak, their wisdom cannot be ignored. So whenever he has time, Aizen will read books in the sealed space. Naruto didn't touch the textbook on the table, he looked a little hesitant. For a moment, he seemed to have made a decision, bowed 90 degrees to Aizen, and shouted, "Mr. Aizen, please guide me how to become stronger." Become stronger. Lan Ran put down the book with a playful expression. Why do you want to become stronger? Because I want to have the ability to control my own destiny. I don't want to be stared at by those eyes anymore. I want to have the power to break everything, and I want to change everyone's opinion of me. Naruto replied without thinking. Is that all? Lan Ran's eyes were full of disappointment. Is other people's opinions really so important to you? Hearing this, Naruto fell into deep thought. Several fragments came to mind. The bullying of the children, the cursing of the villagers, and the hypocritical smiles of 3 generations. Is the approval of others really so important to me? The former self was insulted, but at that time, he felt that as long as he became Hokage, he would be recognized by everyone. So you have to keep working hard and try your best. But looking at it now, how ridiculous I was at the time. Konoha wants to control herself. In their eyes, what is he? In fact, they don't see themselves as part of it at all. Naruto couldn't help but clenched his fists, his eyes were full of anger. He raised his head, his eyes determined. I want to have the ability to break everything. I want Konoha, no, the whole ninja world respects me, even fears me. Afraid. It's still not enough, but at least it's interesting. If that's the case, then I'll help you. Lan Ran stood up, her slender figure carrying a huge sense of oppression. Naruto felt that his breathing was stagnant, and the terrifying pressure made him tremble uncontrollably. Is this not enough? Lan Ran said coldly, took off his glasses, his eyes were sharp. At that moment, the elegant temperament disappeared, and he became arrogant and conceited. It can be said that this is the first time in Aizen's career that he has exposed his true self. Naruto's pupils vibrated, and his body began to tremble uncontrollably. The world I live in is different from the ninja world. R****** of death is a soul, without a human body. Reiatsu is a unique ability system in our world. The density of a person's soul is called Reiatsu. The greater the density, the greater the power. Every wandering soul in the corpse soul world will have a spiritual pressure, and a few people with strong talents can awaken the Zanpakuto and have their exclusive Shirjayu. You are human, so logically speaking, there would be no Reiatsu. So if you want to forcibly awaken Reiatsu, there will be a lot of unknowns. If you want to gain power, you must have the awareness of death. The entire sealed space shook, and then an inconspicuous sword appeared in front of Naruto. If you already have the consciousness of death, then pick up this knife. Aizen put his hands behind his back and said coldly. The more he understands this space, the more fearful Aizen becomes. In this space, Yu reading www.uakanshu.com seems to be able to manifest all abilities and items to Naruto. He didn't know which supreme being created this space. Judging from the current situation, this space seems to want to become Naruto's teacher. With this guess, Aizen wanted to verify whether Naruto in reality could gain the same power and become a ***** of death. Even fuse the powers of Grim Reaper and Ninja. If successful, Naruto may forge a new path. Aizen's eyes suddenly became hot. In order to pursue a higher level, he did not hesitate to use the body of his colleagues to do virtualization experiments. In the world of corpses and souls, this move is undoubtedly a dance on the tip of a knife. Although Aizen is confident and arrogant, there are indeed existences in the world of souls that he is afraid of. The captain of the Shinigami team, the strongest Shinigami, and the captain of Yamamoto. But confidently, he regards everything as chess pieces, and the layout is like a game of chess. If you are not careful, you will be doomed. Naruto will undoubtedly be a big change for him. In sight, Naruto stretched out his hand without hesitation, holding the Zanpakuto tightly. There was no seething vibration of pain or strength, just a lingering feeling of freshness. Naruto found that there seemed to be more magical power in his body. It's tiny, but it does exist. It worked. Aizen's pupils vibrated, and his heart was shocked. Uzumaki Naruto's whole body was flowing with spiritual pressure. Lingluo is a form of spiritual energy, which is mostly used for exploration. Only the high-ranking ***** of death can see the spirit channel. The spirit channel of the **** of death is red, and the human being is white. But Naruto's spirit channel turned out to be red and white. Chapter 5. Control of Reiatsu. How strange. Why does Mr. Aizen look so surprised? Early the next morning, Naruto woke up in a daze and scratched his head in confusion. In the past, Aizen has always shown an elegant and confident appearance, as if nothing can make his mood fluctuate. But just yesterday, Naruto saw an unbelievable emotion on Aizen's face. Is awakening Reiatsu something rare? Naruto didn't understand the shock in Aizen's heart. At that time, he asked Aizen for the secret of controlling Reiatsu. But Aizen dismissed him with one sentence: get familiar with the spiritual pressure in your body first. When Naruto left the sealed space, he found that there was a black, ordinary sword on his bed. Why is there an extra sword out of thin air? Naruto held the taidao with his hand. The heart-to-heart feeling shocked him. The knife seems to have life. This is your Zanpakuto. Aizen's slightly complicated voice sounded in his mind. Zanpakuto. Naruto looked confused. Mr. Aizen, how do I use him? He hurriedly asked in his mind, but no matter how many times he asked Aizen, there was no reply. Naruto had no choice but to hide the sword under the bed. In Konoha, except for ninjas, they are not allowed to carry weapons without authorization, not to mention that their identity is still a sensitive nine-tailed demon fox. If it is discovered, it will definitely cause unnecessary trouble. After a simple wash, Naruto began to try to sense the spiritual pressure in his body. As Aizen said, Reiatsu is the energy from the soul. After awakening Reiatsu, you should be able to feel the Reiatsu flowing in your body. Naruto sat cross-legged and felt quietly. However, in less than 5 minutes, he couldn't help scratching his itchy chin, opened his eyes, and twisted his body a little bit impatiently. After sighing, he continued to close his eyes. Seeing that he couldn't sit still, he couldn't stop for a short time. The spiritual pressure comes from the soul. It is colorless and tasteless, so you can't see it clearly, but it does exist. Calm down and clear up all distracting thoughts, so that you can perceive the spiritual pressure. Aizen's helpless voice sounded in his mind. Although Naruto is acting very mature now, his nature is still a child who can't sit still. With Aizen's guidance, Naruto also settled down, closed his eyes and began to meditate according to Aizen's guidance. At first, he was still a little upset, but as time passed, Naruto's breathing gradually became calmer, and his whole body became more relaxed. The sun was high and the birds were singing constantly outside the window, and Naruto was still sitting cross-legged on the bed, motionless. He seemed to have entered a mysterious realm. He can feel and even control his own Reiatsu. Under Naruto's control, Reiatsu spread outward like a large net, from the entire room to the surrounding environment. Everything seemed to be under his control. He could clearly hear his own breathing, the crisp birdsong outside the window, and even those chakras that were hiding in the dark. Different chakra colors outline the outline of Anbu Ninja. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 Anbu ninjas around the house. They were motionless, like rusty iron men. A few birds landed on Anbu's body, completely unaware that they were landing on humans. But even so, Anbu remained motionless. This is the literacy of a ninja. Naruto continued to explore the usage of Reiatsu as if he had found an interesting treasure. When he wanted to use Reiatsu to further outline Anbu Ninja's face, he felt a strain in his brain. He knew that this was his limit. Stop using it, and a strong sense of fatigue hits. Don't use Reiatsu excessively, take a good rest today. Aizen fell into silence after the reminder. Naruto's talent is even scarier than he thought. In such a short period of time, he can have a preliminary use of Reiatsu. It seems that Naruto has a strong Reiatsu talent. Coupled with his own mysterious power, he may really be able to open up a new power system. Single quote. I'm looking forward to seeing Naruto who fully develops Reiatsu and ninjutsu in the future. The corners of Lanran's mouth curled up. Perhaps you can become my opponent in the future. The road of the strong is doomed to be lonely. On the road of pursuing becoming stronger, Aizen will try his best to promote the birth of the strong, although he may not be able to enjoy himself to the fullest. But at least it's a little toy. Adversary. Then I'm still far behind. After being affirmed, Naruto was overjoyed. I will trouble Mr. Aizen to teach me how to practice in the future, and I will definitely try my best to become stronger. Aizen hummed lightly. Climb up the pole. Naruto's operation made him quite satisfied. To become stronger by any means is the attitude that the strong should have. Gulu. At this moment, Naruto's stomach made a sound. Looking out the window, he realized that he had been meditating for at least 3 hours. I'm so hungry, let's go to Yil Ramen. Can't wait to cook now. Naruto rubbed his stomach and made a decision. Uncle Yil is one of the few villagers who is kind to him. But Naruto rarely goes to Ichiraku Ramen. On the one hand, I don't want Uncle Yil to suffer from the cold eyes of the villagers because of himself. On the other hand, you don't have enough money. The 3 generations will provide themselves with living expenses every month. These living expenses are only enough to buy some basic ingredients and daily necessities. Although not much, but at least it can be regarded as a love. Naruto walked out the door and said hello to the big tree at the door. Good morning, Uncle Ninjas. The leaves swayed, as if in response. Anbu ninjas have long been accustomed to Naruto's daily etiquette greetings. It's just that there is no wave in my heart. Walk towards Yil Ramen. Naruto deliberately bypassed the busiest avenue. Yu reading www.uakanshu.com. He is not a masochist. Since others hate him, he will not dangle in front of others. Try to avoid the opponent as much as possible. Although Naruto has always shown a graceful and calm side, anger and dissatisfaction will also appear in his heart when he is treated roughly by others. If he hadn't been under surveillance, he might have fought back. Just as he was passing by a remote street, he heard familiar but unfamiliar curses. White-eyed monster. Kill this white-eyed monster. Her eyes are really scary. She is a monster like that 9-tailed demon fox. Naruto stopped. He didn't expect that there were people in Konoha who were treated the same as him. He walked to where the sound came from. Not far away, several children surrounded a little girl. The girl has lavender short hair that reaches the ears, and has a delicate face, but a pair of piercing white eyes spoil this delicate little face. This is, from the Hyuga clan. Naruto's eyes flickered. Before that, he tried to understand the distribution of forces entrenched in Konoha. Although the information is not too accurate, but the basic information is relatively complete. Both the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan are prominent families in Konoha, and both families have blood successors with eyes. Rollin and Sharingan. They are all worth making friends with. The future can be your own help. Naruto quietly watched the group of children insulting the girl, who curled up in a corner with tears on her face. Naruto's mouth curled up slightly. I want to be her light. He strode toward the boys. Chapter 6. Be her light. Hey, you guys, is it fun to bully girls? Naruto said loudly. Having been interrupted from their daily activities of bullying, a few brats looked unhappy. They turned their heads to look at Naruto, and suddenly burst out laughing. Isn't this the 9-tailed demon fox? Why is it suddenly so tough now? Do monsters also play heroes to save the beauty these days? Didn't I beat you, your skin itches? These bear children should be the few people who are most familiar with Naruto. In the past, they would give Naruto a big beating for 3 days and a small beating for 2 days. Since Naruto changed, they rarely saw Naruto. Now seeing Naruto crushing them regardless of temperament and appearance, an emotion called jealousy is constantly brewing in his heart, and he wants to beat Naruto hard. Seeing the eager kid, Naruto sneered. These few bear children can be regarded as the shadow of my childhood. Back then, being cornered and beaten was a daily routine. Those Anbu ninjas who protect themselves never intervene, they just sit on the sidelines. He didn't appear until he was about to kill him, and sent a fluffy sentence, "Don't hit me." This move naturally contributed to the prestige of the bear boy. Until one day, I tried my best to fight back, and knocked out 2 teeth of the first bear child. For this reason, I also paid the price of becoming a pig's head. But at least from that day on, the brat didn't come to make trouble. As Aizen said, Kindness will only make others worse, and violence needs to be used under appropriate circumstances. Now the bear kid doesn't bully Naruto, but turns around and starts bullying others. Seeing this scene, Naruto could not hide his disgust. Garbage should be thrown into the garbage dump. It is Konoha's loss to stand here and breathe the air. He put away his gentle smiling expression, and his eyes were sharp. Raise your fist, Wawa is counting punches. The fist with Reiatsu is amazingly lethal. One person gets one punch, and the rain and dew are all covered. Several children had their faces covered with blood, and sat on the ground crying loudly. Among them, the leading child was missing 3 teeth. Now it's all right, the words are going to leak. Naruto quietly watched the bear children cry for 5 minutes, and did not continue to attack, because he knew that Anbu would not allow it. The so-called protection is just to ensure that you don't die. When the bear children had cried enough, Naruto showed a gentle smile, pulled them up, and said in a tone like a big brother, "It is very rude to bully others' appearance, we are all reasonable residents of Konoha, don't it's a savage way to use your fists, right?" In the eyes of the bear children, Naruto's elegant and gentle smile made them shudder, and they nodded hastily in fright. "Then what should you do next?" "Then shall I go?" The leading bear boy sobbed. Naruto's hand gripping the bear's shoulder suddenly tightened. Dao, apology. The bear child suffered from pain and hurriedly changed his words. "If you know your mistakes, you are a good boy." Naruto let go of his hand and gave him a look. "Yes, I'm sorry." They walked up to the girl and whispered. "Speak up, apologize with sincerity." Naruto reminded thoughtfully behind him. The brats only felt their backs getting cold, bowed vigorously and shouted, "I'm sorry." "Remember, be a good boy." Naruto watched the bear children stagger away, then turned to look at Hinata, showing a gentle smile that was harmless to humans and animals. "Are you okay?" It was an unforgettable day for Hinata. She walked out of the clan alone, thinking about going to the street to buy some snacks, but was stopped by some brats on the way. Hinata recognized the children. They are a small group in Konoha, and they like to bully other children. They pushed themselves and cursed themselves with vicious words. When she was being bullied, she saw a gentle and handsome boy appearing like a hero, defeating the bad guys and saving herself. The boy was so gentle and his smile was so sunny. "I'm sorry." When Hinata heard the apology from those brats, tears flickered in Hinata's eyes, and she looked at Uzumaki Naruto tearfully. That not tall figure was reassuring. "Thank you, what's your name?" Hinata asked Naruto nonchalantly. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto gently rubbed Hinata's small head. This action made Hinata's face turn red like steam. "Remember, kindness is a good quality. But sometimes the easier you speak, the more you will be bullied, and the harder you speak, the more you will not be bullied." Naruto's gentle words sounded in Hinata's ears. "I hope you weren't a doormat the first time I saw you. I am leaving, bye." Hinata hurriedly raised her head, but saw Naruto's figure had disappeared at the entrance of the street. She stood there in a daze, with Naruto's words echoing in her mind. "Stop being a doormat. Miss, are you alright?" At this moment, Hinata's bodyguard asked nervously in front of Hinata. As the eldest lady of the Hyuga clan's family, Hinata would have been accompanied by guards when she went out. But today, Hinata ran out of the clan without authorization, and after discovering it, the clan leader hurriedly sent guards to look for it. As a result, the guards saw a few crying children near the entrance of the street. Yu reading www.uakanshu.com complained while running. "Damn nine-tailed fox, *******, white-eyed monster. White-eyed monster. This must be talking about Missy." The guards were eager to protect the Lord, and they rushed over quickly, regardless of punishing these brats. Hinata ignored the guards, her eyes stayed on the street where Naruto disappeared. "I thought to myself, thank you, Naruto-kun." After today, Hinata's father, Hinata, was pleasantly surprised to find that his previously submissive daughter suddenly became diligent and began to practice Rukwon. He even said to himself, "Father, I want to cultivate and become stronger so that I won't be bullied by others." Such a change made Nizu very gratified, and even praised Hinata severely. The other side. The Hinata girl with a weak personality and her escorts, her status should not be low, and she is worth making friends with. Naruto, who was walking on the road, thought secretly. Before leaving, his Reiatsu sensed the ninja approaching rapidly. In order to avoid trouble, he decisively bid farewell to Hinata. During his departure, he also had a face-to-face meeting with the Hinata guard. A young ninja in his 20s also has supercilious eyes. It should be the girl's guard. The Hyuga clan is a wealthy family that rivals the Uchiha, and Bion is as famous as Sharingan. It can be seen that that girl can become a very good bargaining chip in the future. Thinking of this, the corners of Naruto's mouth twitched slightly. He has already planted the seeds of becoming stronger for the girl, hoping that she will live up to his expectations when they meet next time. Work hard to become stronger, so that you are qualified to be my pawn. Chapter 7. White-haired ninja. Come, have a drink. Done. After eating so many ramen, I still have enough ramen. Ha ha ha, as long as you like it, guests. As soon as he walked to the door, Naruto heard the cheers and laughter in the shop. It's clearly in full swing. Naruto paused at the door, adjusting the smile on his face to make it more perfect and elegant. Pushing the door and entering the small shop of Yil Ramen, a scent of ramen and warm air blows over your face. After seeing who was coming, the originally lively atmosphere stagnated for a moment, but it returned to the original lively atmosphere. The guests continued to chat as if they hadn't seen Naruto. They all know that hand-punching treats all customers equally. There was once a customer who said that he would not eat in a restaurant with the nine-tailed demon fox, and forced Naruto to go out. Who knew that he was kicked out by hand? Since then, there has been an unspoken rule in Yil Ramen. Venting dissatisfaction with other guests is not allowed. Uncle, I'm here to eat noodles. Naruto nodded slightly and said with a smile. It's Naruto, I recently developed a new product, do you want to try it? Handa smiled boldly. Uncle, your ramen is already the strongest in Konoha, and you need to develop new products. I'm afraid my purse is too small. Naruto sat down in the most remote seat and said with a faint smile. Ha ha ha, you still know how to talk. Today I have to show you something. The hand-slapping uncle was full of fighting spirit. Naruto waited quietly for his ramen, and looked at the ninjas and villagers in the shop without leaving a trace out of the corner of his eye. One of the strangely dressed ninjas caught his attention. Long white hair, a black mask covering most of his face, a forehead protector covering one eye, the dead fish eyes exposed to the air are lifeless. It looks very indifferent. Naruto has seen many ninjas, but this white-haired ninja is the only one who is lifeless but has a masterful temperament. But talk. How to eat noodles while wearing a mask. Naruto looked puzzled. As if sensing Naruto's gaze, the white-haired ninja glanced over and met Naruto's gaze. In a daze, Naruto saw the white-haired ninja's calm eyes suddenly tremble, revealing a trace of complicated emotions. That emotion was nothing like the familiar disgust. There is actually a little guilt. Is it wrong? Naruto frowned. It is very impolite to stare at others all the time. Naruto nodded apologetically at the white-haired ninja, then withdrew his gaze, turned his head and stopped looking. It's just that there is a trace of curiosity about the white-haired ninja in my heart. Kakashi withdrew his gaze, stared blankly at the face in his hand, and suddenly lost his appetite. He is a disciple of Naruto's biological father Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato took good care of himself during his lifetime, and taught him all the ninjutsu. But with the passing of Namikaze Minato, his father, and his friends, Kakashi fell into confusion, and has lived alone with his pain until now. He naturally knows the unfair treatment Naruto suffered in the village, but he is just an elite Junin. He didn't have the ability to intervene, and he didn't try to intervene because of the sinking of the past few years. He frantically accepts commissions, trying to numb himself, but every time he sees Naruto, he still feels a deep sense of guilt. The veins of the teacher are suffering, but there is nothing I can do about it. Single quote. He took a deep breath, his lips trembling slightly under the mask. Naruto didn't know Kakashi's psychological fluctuations at the moment, he was seriously enjoying the ramen. Put your palms together before eating, and say piously in your heart, I'm going to start. He leaned closer first, smelled the aroma of ramen, and took a sip of the soup, which was thick and fragrant. Then take a bite of pork bone meat, it melts in the mouth, silky. It's so delicious. Naruto immediately ignored the etiquette, picked up the bowl before and started to eat. Seeing that Naruto, who used to be gentle and elegant, was like a hungry wolf at this moment, the smile on Uncle's face couldn't be stopped. This is the greatest affirmation for him. Now that you have filled your stomach, let's start today's practice. As soon as he walked out of Yil Ramen, Aizen's calm voice sounded in his mind. Practice. Can I start practicing? Naruto was suddenly excited. Aizen smiled lightly. I hope you will be so keen on training in the future. Arriving at the most remote area of the training ground, Naruto has already finished warming up. Now that you have Reiatsu and Shallow Hit, you are already prepared. Reaper. Aizen paused when he said, Reaper, and Naruto's red and white spirit appeared in his mind. Network. Even he himself doesn't know if Naruto is a human or a Shinigami. Or, maybe both. Reaper's fighting methods are roughly divided into chopping, white fighting, shunpo and ghost way. The most basic of these is white fighting, and it can also be an unarmed combat skill. Slashing is the way of swordsmanship. Shunpo is moving the body quickly, so fast that it is difficult for the naked eye to catch, so it will give people the illusion of instantaneous movement. The last is the ghost way. The ghost way is a special spell for the of death. It is divided into 3 types: breaking the way, binding the way and returning the way. The difficulty of Shunpo and Ghost Way is too high for you. Lan Ran gave Ming succinctly. The person introduced the 4 major fighting methods. Yu reading www.uakanshu.com. Okay, it's so complicated. But I will definitely master these, and I will work hard. Naruto kept everything Aizen said in his heart. Before you master these fighting methods, you need to lay a good foundation. First, you need to polish your physical strength and strength. Let's run 3 laps around the training ground first. But the next moment, Aizen's words made Naruto stunned. The radius of a training ground in Konoha is about 10 kilometers, and it is difficult to complete 1 lap, let alone 3 laps. What? Scared? Afraid? I'm not afraid. I'll run. Gritting his teeth, Naruto began jogging along the edge of the training ground. No one's success is achieved overnight. The most indispensable thing in this world is talent. Without the accumulation of time, talent will only be wasted. Today is just the beginning, and you will increase the course of cutting skills in the future. Don't worry, the next is the same training. Aizen said gently, but what he said made Naruto complain in his heart. Aizen stopped watching Naruto's training, opened the book, and watched quietly. In the past, in order to become stronger and to overthrow the decadent 46 chambers, he had done devil-style training that ordinary people could hardly imagine. As he said, no one is strong overnight. Talent is wasted without effort. For him, swinging a knife 10,000 times is just a normal day-to-day. But there was one thing he didn't tell Naruto. There used to be countless amazing and brilliant reapers who worked as hard as I did. They thought that talent plus time would make them the strongest, but unfortunately, in front of me, they are all just pawns after all. Lan Ran smiled coldly and said to himself, language. Uzumaki Naruto, I hope you don't disappoint my cultivation, and add a little fun to my boring life. Chapter 8. Shallow Induction, Mysterious Space. It turns out that practice is such a tiring thing. After finishing running, Naruto lay down under the tree like a drowned rat, gasping for breath. His original elegant image has disappeared, and now he is very embarrassed. He didn't fall into the river, it was his sweat. Naruto originally thought that practicing is to learn all kinds of fighting skills. As long as you have talent, learning will get twice the result with half the effort. But I didn't expect that the good foundation that needs to be laid for practice can only be accumulated by time and physical strength. Do you regret it? He asked himself in his heart. No, I have the awareness to become stronger. He shook his head, throwing these disordered thoughts behind him. Human physique is weak, but it is also plastic, and they can have infinite possibilities through training. Aizen quietly watched Naruto's training, his eyes flickering. Among human beings, there are also strong men who can rival the god of death, and they are called Quincy Masters. The essential difference between them and the of death is that the of death constantly improves his spiritual pressure through practice, while the Quincy Master can directly absorb spiritual power from the outside world. This also caused that, except for a very few gods of death with extremely high talents, the strength of most other gods of death is much slower than that of Quincy Masters. This aroused the jealousy of death, but this was not the main reason for the conflict to erupt. The most important thing is their attitude towards virtual reality. The god of death killed Shu just to purify his soul and continue to enter reincarnation, and the god of death is transformed from the soul of human beings. On the contrary, the Quincy Master will completely kill a void and destroy the soul, so the behavior of the Quincy Master will destroy the balance between the soul world and the present world, thus leading to the extinction of the Shinigami. Thus, a war broke out between the two. In the battle that lasted for thousands of years, the Quincy Master retreated steadily and was almost wiped out by the of death. In the current world, there is hardly a single Quincy to be seen. Unlike those gods of death who hate Quincy, Aizen is full of curiosity about Quincy. If there is an upper limit to the potential of both humans and Grim Reapers, what about the combination of humans and Grim Reapers? It is precisely because of this that Aizen not long ago prompted the birth of Kurosaki Ichigo, a boy with the blood of Shinigami and Quincy. Thinking of this, Aizen's heart is full of expectations. One is the descendant of the god of death and the Quincy, and the other is a human with the power of god of death and the ninja. I don't know how much surprise they will give themselves. Ninetales Jinchuriki has started to practice. Onbi Ninja reported Naruto's information to the third Hokage in real time. Practice. Why would Naruto think of practicing? Midai frowned tightly, smoking his pipe vigorously. He took out the crystal ball and began to monitor Naruto's every move in real time. In the crystal ball, Naruto is carrying a big tree. There was soil remaining at the root of the tree, which was obviously pulled out not long ago. It was about as tall as Naruto, and at least 50 caddies walked up it. Looking at Naruto who was struggling, but still working hard, Sandai's eyebrows twitched wildly. Looks like I have to do something. Naruto originally thought that this kind of self-mutilation practice would cause damage to his body, but strangely, after one night, his sore body returned to normal, and he was still alive and well. My resilience is different from ordinary people. Naruto thought. With this layer of protection, Naruto continued to maintain high-intensity training. At first, there was some resistance, but the training was just like pushing iron, sore, painful, and I fell in love with the feeling of overdrawn body. But in one night, the 3 generations arrived unexpectedly. Naruto, how are you doing? I forgot to give you living expenses when I came last time. Sandai put a wad of money on Naruto's desk. 3 generations of grandpas, that's too much. Naruto simply counted and looked surprised. This time I got at least 50% more living expenses than before, and I can buy a little better food this month. Take the extra part as the pocket money that grandpa gave you. The 3rd generation blinked at Naruto, and the two of them looked at each other with ghosts and smiled. 3 generations, it's really easy to control. Naruto. Hehe. At this time, Sandai pretended not to notice Naruto's fatigue, and asked with concern, Naruto, why do you look so tired? I've been practicing for the past few days, and I've consumed a lot of energy, Naruto replied. The two of them followed this topic. Why do you want to start practicing? Because you can only become Hokage if you become stronger. I want to have the power to protect everyone. Hearing Naruto's textbook-like answer, Sandai's heart was touched, and he took a few puffs of cigarettes, but soon realized that Naruto was still a child, so he put down his pipe, feeling quite emotional. Naruto, you have really grown up. Quote. Maybe it's the environment, because I'm eager to be recognized, so I think a lot. Naruto became a little depressed for a moment, but soon raised his head, showing a sunny and warm smile. I believe I can become Hokage. If you need my help, just ask. The 3rd generation promised. Naruto also took advantage of the situation to ask for learning sword skills and chakra. You are already 4 years old, and Yu Reading www.uakanshu.com has reached the age of refining chakra. I will ask Anbu to send you basic books, but why do you want to learn sword skills? Ninjas are good at using kunai and ninjutsu. There are very few ninjas with swords. A few days ago, I saw a description of Bai Fang in Konoha Heroes. I think that as long as the sword is superb, it can also play a key role in the battle. Naruto replied immediately, who was prepared. Why do you have to use swordsmanship? As long as ninjutsu is used properly, it can also be lethal, and it takes a lot of time to practice swordsmanship. Actually, I think the sword technique is very cool, so I want to try it. Naruto scratched his head embarrassedly. Children of this age still want to be cool and strong. Sandai remembers having similar thoughts when he was a child. Seeing a very handsome attack style, I wanted to learn it, but I chose to give up after trying it. I believe Naruto will give up soon. So the third generation readily complied with Naruto's request. After Sandai left, Naruto closed the door and took out the Asahi under the bed. The pitch-black, unremarkable surface of the shallow strike glowed with a cold light, like a sword waiting to see blood. Asagi is the form of Zanpakuto before it awakens, and it will only awaken after the communication and combination of the ****** of death and the spirit of the sword. Aizen said at this time. Sword spirit. What is that? Naruto looked confused. Awakening Zanpakuto. Naruto stroked Asada, and there was a slight connection with Asada again from the bottom of his heart. This feeling is. Naruto's eyes widened, the palpitation of heart-to-heart connection was so familiar. Suddenly, a strong sense of tiredness hit Naruto, and Naruto felt his eyelids sink, and he leaned against the bedside and fell into a deep sleep. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 9, The Name of the Mysterious Man, Zanpakuto. In the dark. There was a fire in the distance, and Naruto woke up suddenly, only to find that he was in a magnificent palace. An exquisite throne stands alone high at the far end of the palace. Filled with a lonely, deserted atmosphere. This is where. Naruto was confused. In the past, I would come to the sealed space after falling asleep, but this time it was a strange scene. Why do I keep getting this weird thing? Naruto couldn't help complaining. You're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. At this moment, an ethereal and dull voice echoed in the space, and then a figure shrouded in black shadow appeared beside the throne. The man is wearing a black robe and a hood. The face was covered by shadows, making it impossible to see clearly. He stood upright on the edge of the throne, and he felt a little respectful. Could it be the illusion of ninja? Naruto's heart shuddered. Perhaps because he started to practice, the third generation was worried, so he sent his subordinates to test himself with illusion. Probably. I can't show my flaws. The cautious Naruto spoke first. Hello, where is this place? This is your kingdom. As the words fell, the originally lifeless palace glowed with vitality, and the entire space began to boil, and the stars spread, drawing a bright starry sky scene. Just when Naruto was surprised, he only felt a blur in front of his eyes. The next moment, he saw a black shadow appearing beside him, elegant and respectful. Naruto took a step back warily. His eyes stayed on Sombra's face. The strange thing is that even if they face each other at close range, Sombra's face is still shrouded in shadow, making it impossible to see his true appearance. Who are you? Naruto felt a sense of intimacy from the black shadow. This is not illusion, not the temptation of the third generation. For some reason, he suddenly believed in it. Hearing Naruto's question, the black figure bowed respectfully to Naruto. I am the deepest power in your heart and the power you long for. I am your most loyal and reliable help to the cloud. Power. Is it as powerful as Mr. Aizen? Naruto asked. When the words fell, Naruto saw the black shadow tremble, and his tone was full of disappointment. Aizen. It turns out that for you, his power is powerful. It seems that the time has not come yet. The ravings of the black shadow echoed in the space, rustling. Remember, I am the only one you can trust, and I will be the sharpest blade in your hand, cutting all obstacles in front of you for you. You can call me. Hearing the whispering voice in his ear, Naruto's consciousness gradually blurred, the man in his sight became farther and farther away, and his voice became indistinct. When his consciousness was plunged into darkness, a sentence rang clearly in his ear. Flowers in the mirror and moon in the water. When Naruto woke up again, he had already returned to the house, and the candlelight was flickering, reflecting his cloudy and uncertain face. Just, what happened? Flowers in the mirror. He held his head in confusion, and Chianda slipped from his side and fell to the ground. The blade is dark green, smooth and sharp. This is not the original shallow hit. Naruto held the transformed Zanpakuto in astonishment. An unprecedented feeling welled up in my heart. A mysterious introductory language emerged in my mind. Crack it, it's a mirror image. In the early morning, Naruto woke up from his sleep. In a daze, he touched the zanpakuto next to his pillow. The cold knife handle lifted his spirits, and he got up without any sleepiness. Flowers in the mirror, moon in the water. He muttered Zanpakuto's name, and rubbed his temples with a headache. After Zanpakuto awakened yesterday, he felt exhausted and soon fell asleep. This time, he did not go to the sealed space, and it was already morning when he woke up again. Mr. Aizen, my consciousness entered an unknown space yesterday, and I was told the name of Zanpakuto. Naruto raised the dark green Zanpakuto, trying to communicate with Aizen. Have you mastered Shirjayu? Aizen's tone was full of suspicion. The first solution is the first stage of Zanpakuto's liberation. The Zanpakuto after the initial solution will have unique abilities. Ordinary gods of death need at least 10 years to master the initial solution. As for the second stage of the swastika, it is an area that ordinary gods of death cannot touch. It seems to be. Naruto said uncertainly. It seems to be called the mirror flower and the water moon. Flowers in the mirror. Lan Ran's pupils vibrated, and then fell into silence. No matter how Naruto called, he didn't respond. In the sealed space, Lan Ran covered her face with her right hand, and the corner of her mouth suddenly curved strangely. Sure enough, as I thought, Naruto can use my power. I didn't even notice it. The spiritual pressure is still the same, and there is no abnormality in the body. Could it be that this is a replica? Deep laughter echoed in the sealed space. All of a sudden it's fun. After a simple wash, Naruto prepared a hearty breakfast for himself. 2 fried eggs and a piece of dry bread. In view of training, he urgently needs supplementary nutrition. After enjoying breakfast, Naruto went out and walked towards Konoha's weapon shop. He needs to forge a knife and carry weights. Hello, uncle, I need to make a dark green knife and a weight. Naruto came to the weapon shop and said gently. The weapon shop is in full swing, and the apprentices are working hard to forge. The blacksmith uncle raised his head, his upper body was bare, and he wiped his sweat with his dark palms. Yu reading www. Uakanshu. Calm frowned and took the sketch drawn by Naruto. By the way, this is the weapon purchase license given to me by my grandfather of the 3rd generation. Naruto took out a license from his arms. Civilians in Konoha cannot buy weapons arbitrarily, they need to obtain a license. These things. Uncle Blacksmith quietly looked at the sketch, and pondered slightly. The weapons of Konoha ninjas are similar, nothing more than shurikens, kunai, detonating charms, etc. Very few ninjas will issue commissions for forging swords, these are not technical tasks. Ida's just that why did Naruto buy these things at such a young age? Uncle Blacksmith looked at Naruto inquiringly, but nodded without asking. Not chasing after customers' secrets is basic professionalism. No problem, pick it up in 3 days, please pay the deposit first. Open the door to do business, he has no reason to refuse Naruto's lucrative commission. That's troublesome. Leaving the weapon shop, Naruto walked towards the training ground. The blacksmith stared at the sketch in a daze, and muttered to himself, this knife is so long, it's strange, why did he order a 20 kg load, can it really bear it at such a young age? He patted his head for a moment, and suddenly said, what am I thinking, he is a 9-tailed demon fox, he must be different from ordinary people. Arriving at the training ground, Naruto began jogging around the training ground. Every time the adrenaline surges, the thrill of breaking the limit is so addictive. The sun rose 3 poles from early morning to noon, and the exhausted Naruto sat under the tree sweating, panting heavily. Shua, shua, shua. Suddenly, the surrounding bushes made a sound. Who? Under Naruto's call, a young man with thick eyebrows walked out. Chapter 10. Rock Lee. This is a thick-browed boy wearing a black vest with an average appearance. If the eyebrows were normal, they would be invisible in the crowd. I'm sorry, I didn't peek on purpose. I saw your training in front of me. It's really amazing. The exposed Lee Rock scratched his head in embarrassment, and then said excitedly. Naruto noticed that Rock Lee's hands were covered with bandages, he was limping even when he walked, and there were even small cuts on his face from sharp objects. The black vest on Lee Luoki's body was washed a little faded, the ninja shoes under his feet were a little worn out, and calluses could still be seen on his bare toes. It is not difficult to see that the other party may be a commoner who aspires to become a ninja and change his destiny. Equals. No, it's just daily training. If you want to change your destiny, you have to work hard. Naruto showed a gentle smile and nodded friendly to Rock Lee. Yes, you can only become an excellent ninja through hard work. Rock Lee felt the same way and nodded vigorously. I thought so too. With a preliminary topic, the two began to chat. During the chat, Naruto learned about Rock Lee's life experience. He was born in an ordinary family, and he will be able to enter the ninja school next year and become a ninja. Rock Lee aspires to be a good ninja, so he has been doing some rough training. This is because most of his training was blind, leaving a lot of hidden injuries to his body. Rock Lee's background is too ordinary for Naruto, but Naruto is very satisfied with his willingness and efforts to become stronger. Xiao Li, you are the hardest working person I have ever seen. Naruto first praised Lee Rock, and then changed the subject. However, did you know that the direction and method of efforts are more important? Direction method. Naruto, you mean. Find the right direction, and your training can get twice the result with half the effort. Now is the age of development, but I see that you are covered with injuries. Obviously, you have not protected yourself well in daily training, and excessive training will drain your body's potential. Naruto, you are right, my arm often hurts so much that I can't sleep. Rock Lee said with a look of conviction. Rock Lee, who doesn't know how to train at all, can only throw his fists and learn physical skills from fumbling. As for ninjutsu, don't think about it, his family didn't have the opportunity to let him get in touch with chakra in advance. Under the in-depth communication about the training, Rock Lee was even more impressed by Naruto's bearing and elegance. Naruto will give you all the details of any training. Strength training, physical training, many details that made Rock Lee full of question marks suddenly became clear at this moment. He also understands what a scientific training method is. No one's success is achieved overnight. The most indispensable thing in this world is talent. Without the accumulation of time, talent will only be wasted. But if you find the wrong direction of effort, it will be counterproductive. Finally, Naruto said someone I just taught myself the famous saying yesterday, and I processed it a little later. Thank you, Naruto. Rock Lee was moved. All along, his thick eyebrows and silly training methods have been the object of ridicule by the children in the village, and he will be thrown with stones every time he goes out. He also had doubts about himself, but in the end he gritted his teeth and persisted. Naruto was the first person to share his training method so seriously. Although it may not be absolutely correct, but this feeling, he felt it. Rock Lee bowed abruptly to Naruto, his eyes were full of enthusiasm. Please let me practice with you. Extremely happy. Naruto smiled suddenly. A strong man is destined to be lonely, but on the way to become a strong man, he needs many subordinates. In the training ground, Naruto quietly watched Rock Lee who kept running. Under the bright sun, Rock Lee was sweating profusely, his face was exhausted, his lips were dry, and his chest was heaving like a broken wind. But even so, his eyes were firm, and his footsteps still did not stop. Naruto looked calm, lowered his head, and carefully evaluated Rock Lee in his heart. He has an ordinary appearance, a hot-blooded and pure personality, and looks easy to deceive. His talent is unknown, but he is definitely a hard-working genius. Naruto, I'm done running. Rock Lee's voice suddenly sounded in Naruto's ear. Naruto raised his head, and saw Rock Lee sitting opposite him, panting heavily. He immediately burst into a gentle smile. Good job. Let's do it today. Take a good rest, your body needs to rest. I invite you to eat Ichiraku ramen. Naruto patted Rock Lee on the shoulder. Rock Lee, a guy who works so hard. On the way to Yil Ramen, Rock Lee, who was walking with Naruto, also received pointers from some vicious villagers. Look, that boy with thick eyebrows is walking with the nine-tailed demon fox. It's disgusting. It's okay to be ugly, you have no brains. Naruto was used to these vicious words, so he always maintained his elegance and demeanor, but this was the first time Rock Lee heard such comments. He remembered that his parents also said about the deeds of the nine-tailed demon fox. The nine-tailed demon fox is extremely sinful, has a perverted personality, and likes to eat children. But he really couldn't equate the gentle and elegant Naruto with the nine-tailed demon fox. Reading www.uakanshu.com. He turned to look at Naruto. Facing those curses that were so vicious that he was angry after hearing them, Naruto responded with a faint smile and apologized to himself instead. I'm sorry, Lee, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be scolded by them, or let's go separately and meet at Yil Ramen. Lock Lee only felt anger and confusion brewing in his heart. Even empathy. Like Naruto, I am the object of ridicule by bare children, but the difference is that adult villagers will also sneer at Naruto. Under such circumstances, Naruto still maintained his elegance, even thinking of himself. How could such a person be the nine-tailed demon fox who was said to destroy the village and commit heinous crimes? So he stood up, eyes burning with flames, raised his fists and roared, "Listen up, you people, Naruto did nothing wrong from the beginning to the end, but you. Before he finished speaking, a rotten egg exploded on his face. He wiped the egg wash with a dazed face. Seeing this, Naruto stood in front of Rock Lee and shouted at Rock Lee. You go first. Naruto thought that by changing his temperament and the way he dealt with people, he could stop the villagers from venting themselves. It actually worked. But after Rock Lee came forward to express his dissatisfaction, it aroused the dissatisfaction deep in the hearts of the villagers. We all know that Naruto has never done anything harmful since he was born. But he is a nine-tailed demon fox, so he should be cursed and die. You should blame us, not stand up and be a hero. So even Rock Lee was angered by the villagers. Chapter 11. 1 year later. With Rock Lee coming forward, the relationship between the two seems to be a little closer. Naruto, in my eyes you are not the nine-tailed demon fox, you are my friend. You are a friend who recognizes me. Afterwards, Rock Lee said to Naruto very solemnly. Thanks. Rock Lee was the first to stand up and speak for Naruto. It's impossible not to be moved. But according to Aizen's words, sympathy and emotion are the saddest feelings that should be abandoned. So Naruto quickly put this emotion behind him. Look at Rock Lee with reason. These simple-minded hot-blooded teenagers are often excellent comrades in arms. See you at the training ground at the old time tomorrow. After dinner, the two set a time to meet again tomorrow. In the days that followed, Naruto had an extra training partner. Rock Lee bought weights with Naruto. He was not interested in knives, so most of the training time was spent on exercising his body and practicing boxing. Although it is still rough, at least it has a shape. And Naruto has already started to practice swordsmanship. Holding the dark green mirror flower and water moon, under the guidance of Aizen, he kept swinging the knife. Slashing is divided into kendo and slashing technique. Kendo is the fighting technique of Zanpakuto. It cultivates a powerful spiritual force by tempering the mind and will. Zujutsu, similar to Iaido, kills with one blow, and kills with one blow. It can be upright or despicable. It has only one purpose, to defeat the opponent. In other words, it exists for fighting. Killing technique. Aizen's voice echoed in Naruto's mind. In the world of death, Captain Yamamoto tried to teach Kenpachi when he entered the team, because he hoped that Kenpachi would replace the original **** fighting methods with standardized fighting skills and kendo spirit, and hoped that the other party would be spiritually learn something from above. It's a pity that the latter has no interest in learning at all. Combined with the history of the 13th team, Zheng Yuhabok described the past 13th team as the ghost of the sword, because the members of the 13th team used to use chopping instead of kendo. Until later, Captain Yamamoto and the first sister Kenpachi switched to kendo, and the outlook on life and the world of the entire 13th team also changed. Aizen knew the history of the 13th team and sneered at kendo. In his view, Zanpakuto is a weapon for killing people, and the so-called sword spirit is simply a burden in battle. The current 13th team is too weak to pose any threat to him. You make your own decision, whether to learn swordsmanship or chopping. Aizen left the choice to Naruto himself. I choose the chopping technique. Unsurprisingly, Naruto chose the chopping technique without hesitation. Cut technique. I am looking forward to your first murder scene. The first time you face is always fear and panic. Like flowers blooming on a cliff, we will all stop before the cliff instead of facing the sky without fear like a flower. Take a step. Once you successfully take that step, you will no longer be the original Naruto Uzumaki. The corners of Lanran's mouth curled up, and his eyes were full of playfulness. 1 year later. Konoha is 53 years old. Today is also the day Rock Lee enters the ninja school. The day before entering school, Rock Lee chatted with Naruto all afternoon. The general meaning is that he is very nervous and hopes that his ninja talent is good. He hopes to become a ninja with outstanding physical skills but not bad ninjutsu. He expects a lot from himself. Naruto didn't send Rock Lee to the ninja school, he didn't want Rock Lee to be cold-eyed because of himself. Sending sincere blessings to Rock Lee, he quickly shuttled among the trees. By converging the spiritual pressure on the soles of the feet, the forward speed can be accelerated. This is also the basic application that needs to be mastered before learning Shunpo. During this year, Naruto also had a general understanding of Aizen's world of death. In Shinigami's world view, there are two concepts of spiritual pressure and spiritual power. People with high spiritual pressure can use higher spiritual energy. Spiritual power is the main substance that constitutes the soul. A qualified of death can use the spiritual power in the body to create spiritual pressure through leakage, which can play a role in deterring the enemy, and can also use spiritual power to solidify various weapons or barriers. Naruto's talent is good, and he has mastered the basic use of Reiatsu in this year. This surprised Aizen very much. For a novice Grim Reaper, the most difficult thing is to control the Reiatsu. But Naruto did everything perfectly. In this regard, Naruto's heart is naturally proud, and he is full of imagination about his future ninja career. My Shinigami talent is so good, I think the ninja talent is not bad. I want to become a ninja who is proficient in ninjutsu and a Shinigami who is proficient in ghosts. Naruto came home. Today he has no training, because he will start a very important thing in his life, chakra extraction. The 5-year-old Naruto can already practice chakra, and the third generation also promised to send related books to Naruto on the first day of school. According to the regulations of the Konoha Ninja School, children who have reached the age of 6 and have ninja talents can go to the ninja school to study. Naruto is still a year away from turning 6, but he is ready to learn relevant knowledge and advance. Members of the major families of Konoha will also start chakra training in advance before enrolling. On the one hand, the family has the resources, and on the other hand, they also hope that the clansmen can become outstanding after enrolling, so as not to lose the name of the family. There was a heated debate among Konoha executives over the issue of Naruto's practice of chakra. The protagonist is naturally Sandai and Danzo, two good friends who love and kill each other. Reading www.uakanshu.com. In the words of Danzo, give Naruto to Genbu, and I can make him the most perfect Konoha weapon ever, and he will become an existence that will shock other ninja villages. The third generation believes that Naruto can perfectly inherit the will of fire, and it is the right answer to let him enter the ninja school and form bonds with other students. After all, there is the successful case of Uzumaki Kushina. Uzumaki Kushina found true love during her studies, became one of Konoha's top fighters, and even gave birth to Uzumaki Naruto. This proves that the theory of the 3 generations is feasible. In the end, under Danzo's argument, the third generation moved out of Hokage theory again, successfully debating Danzo into silence, and walked away angrily. Since you have already made a decision, why do you still ask for my opinion? Danzo's dissatisfaction with the third generation deepened, and his desire for the position of Hokage also increased. But no matter what, Naruto is the biggest winner of this debate. He had the opportunity to learn chakra in advance. Naruto sat on the bed in the room, holding Kyoka Suigetsu with both hands, waiting excitedly like a child who is about to get his favorite toy. If you learn chakra, you can use ninjutsu. How to use chakra? What is the difference between chakra and reiatsu? His mind is full of desire to explore the unknown. Dang dang. Suddenly there was a knock on the door, and Naruto immediately ran to the door excitedly, opened the door, and there was no one outside, but there were 2 more books on the cold stone steps. Thank you. Naruto nodded slightly to the tree, and returned to the house with the books in his arms. The door was closed again, and the leaves shook slightly. Chapter 12. Basic Chakra Training. The Preliminary Refinement Method of Chakra. The Essentials of Mastering the 3-Body Art. Naruto returned to the house and couldn't wait to open the book. At the same time, Aizen was watching the book simultaneously. Chakra is the source of energy for ninjas. The more chakras you have, the stronger your ninja may be. The founder of the Will of Fire, Hokage, possessed a chakra unimaginable by ordinary people in the first generation, and was even called the god of ninja world back then. And the subsequent 3 generations of Hokage were born. Although the total amount of chakra is not as good as that of the first generation of Hokage, the 3rd generation of Hokage is honored as a doctor of ninjutsu by virtue of its superb ninjutsu. Its strength is unknown, and may even surpass the 1st generation of Hokage. Aizen read the book with Naruto, and his brows became tighter the more he looked at it. Are the 3 generations strong? He recalled the old figure of the 3rd generation and the chakra he felt. The 3rd generation may be an experienced ninja, but it would be an exaggeration to say that he is the number 1 in the ninja world. If everything is true, and the 3rd generation is the top powerhouse in the whole ninja world, then this powerhouse in the ninja world is not enough. I always feel that this book contains private goods. Aizen was somewhat disappointed in his heart. What he is most worried about is to find out that the ninja world is a low-dimensional world to the death world. This would mean that the value of ninja world would plummet. Aizen patiently continued to watch. A good ninja needs to be proficient in taijutsu, ninjutsu, and illusion. It is the so-called ninjutsu to extract and use the chakra in the body, or to let the ninja's body achieve the effect directly. Physical arts, as the literal meaning, uses one's own body to attack the enemy's body. Physical exercises generally do not require chakra, so physical exercise has a great relationship with the strength of physical exercises. At the same time, the cultivation of physical skills is rather boring, and requires time and perseverance. Physical arts are also divided into 2 types. One is to cause injuries such as fractures and tears to the opponent, which is called steel fist. The other is to use chakra to destroy internal organs and meridian tissues. This is soft fist. The last illusion. Using chakra to pull the opponent into the illusion constructed will cause a double blow to him physically and psychologically. Of the 3 attack methods, illusion requires the control of chakra the most. How to refine chakra. Naruto was fascinated by it, and soon started his first attempt following the refining method in the book. The way to use chakra is somewhat similar to Reiatsu. It should be easy to get started. Judging from Naruto's talent in Reiatsu, it should be very fast to refine chakra. Aizen nodded secretly. He did not follow the contents of the book to refine chakra. No one knows whether Reiatsu and chakra can coexist. Only when everything is safe and chakra is really helpful to strength, Aizen will start to practice chakra. Naruto sat like this all night. Chakra and Reiatsu have the same effect. They both exist in the veins of the body. Through meditation, we can capture them and condense them. It's just that compared to chakra, Reiatsu seems to be more cunning and unpredictable. With the experience of successfully awakening Reiatsu, it seems that the extraction of mere chakra is not that difficult. After a night, Naruto opened his eyes, let out a breath of foul air slowly. His eyes were bright, and he wasn't tired from staying up all night at all. The corners of his mouth curled up, full of joy. Successful. Feeling the chakra flowing in his body, he couldn't help clenching his fists. One step closer to the goal. He took a deep breath, eyes full of joy and longing. Reiatsu did not have any conflicts with chakra. They were like 2 friends who were not in conflict with each other and flowed in Naruto's body, forming 2 powerful forces. Yoshi, let's start learning ninjutsu. With the successful refining of chakra, Naruto's momentum is like a rainbow, and now he feels that he is omnipotent. Open the 2nd book, The Essentials of Mastering the 3-Body Art. 3-Body Jutsu is the most basic and must-learn ninjutsu for ninjas. If you want to become a strong ninja, you must lay a good foundation. 3-Body Art is divided into Transformation Art, Clone Art and Substitution Art. Transfiguration. Changing objects or self-temporary changes through chakra. The essence is change. Attached picture. Ninjas transform into humans with other appearances. Clone technique. Use chakra to create a controllable virtual clone. The essence is creation. Substitution. Use chakra to transfer the received attack to an object, so as to escape the attack range. The essence is transfer. After a brief understanding of Sanshenjutsu, Naruto began to try to use it. Try the transformation technique first, and change into the appearance of the 3rd generation first. Naruto thought to himself, trying to form seals with both hands. Most ninjutsu require seals to use. Some top powerhouses can do muji and use ninjutsu. Naruto made rough comparisons of several seal gestures based on the contents of the book. Transfiguration. White smoke filled the air, covering it, and when it dissipated, a strange-looking person appeared at Naruto's position. The arms and head were misplaced, and the face was distorted. Successful. It seems that my talent is very good. Naruto looked at the mirror with a happy face, and his expression froze instantly. No, I made a mistake, come again. Transfiguration. Hiss. It's because I'm not proficient in seal formation, transformation technique. It shouldn't be, use the clone technique. This is unreasonable. 10 minutes later, Naruto sat on the bed panting, with frustration in his eyes. What happened? Why can't such a simple ninjutsu be controlled by oneself? Although ninjutsu training needs to be accumulated over time, Naruto can feel that the chakra in his body is very full, and there is no tendency to exhaust it even if he keeps using ninjutsu. The only thing you need to do is to control the seal and chakra. But chakra is different from Reiatsu, the obviously more stable chakra is more difficult for Naruto to control. This sign is so weird. Yu reading www.uakanshu.com. Naruto took a deep breath, not discouraged, he opened the book and carefully looked up the introduction about chakra. Good foundation, printing speed and accuracy plus chakra control accuracy. There is no specific practice method at the back of the book. But Naruto realized something. Chakra's control practice may be the same as Reiatsu. I can attach chakra to body parts and perform some special activities. For example, climbing trees, doing crafts. Just thinking about it, Naruto came to the training ground quickly after lunch, trying to attach chakra to his feet, and strode towards the tree. Bang! Without a doubt, Naruto fell to the ground. Continue. He continued to charge towards the big tree. At night, he was injured and returned home exhausted. Unfortunately, he couldn't even stay on the tree for more than a second. Obviously the chakra in the body is very abundant, but they are as elusive as a running monkey. Don't talk about controlling it, it's already very good to keep them from being confused. At the end of the day, Naruto was physically and mentally exhausted. Ninjutsu brought him unprecedented frustration. It even directly wiped away the sense of accomplishment brought by spiritual pressure. He washed up casually, then lay down on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. I hope that in the sealed space, Aizen can help him solve the confusion. Tick-tock. The sound of dripping water sounded again in the pitch-black sealed space. Naruto suddenly woke up. However, the air in the sealed space seems to be extraordinarily cold this time. On the wall of the space, dark red tracks can even be vaguely seen slowly creeping. Chapter 13. Nine-Tailed Fox. Why is the environment here so bad? Naruto frowned looking at the accumulated water on the ground. The current sealed space reminded him of the first time he met Aizen. The first encounter was in this cold and humid space. It's just that with the communication between Naruto and Aizen, the relationship between the two parties has gradually become closer, and the sealed space in Naruto's body has gradually changed its style. It can be transformed into a prairie with fresh air, or into a magnificent palace. To Naruto's surprise, the elegant and gentle of death-like Aizen actually liked Naruto's transformation of the sealed space into a cold and windy cliff. Standing on the top of the cliff, the whole area seems to be crumbling, with the violent wind whistling in the ears, and you can see the dark abyss when you lower your head, awakening the fear deep in your heart. Naruto also asked Aizen. Aizen's answer was surprising, that is the closest place to the sky. But now, the sealed space has returned to its original state. Does this mean something? Naruto immediately ran towards the familiar sealed gate at an extremely fast speed. There is no change in the sealed gate, except that there is no Aizen's gentle smile and female voice inside, but a dark red shadow like a giant mountain instead. Little devil, you're here. A deep and hoarse voice sounded from behind the door, and then the figure moved, and the entire sealed space seemed to vibrate slightly. Following the dim light, Naruto could clearly see the creature behind the door. A huge fiery red fox with 9 tails. Is this a beast? What about Mr. Aizen? Naruto's eyes froze, full of danger. Mr. Aizen is gone. Good eyes, but this kind of eyes should not be aimed at me, but at them. The giant beast suddenly exuded a strong negative aura of coldness and hatred, passed through the iron gate, wrapped Naruto, and made him shiver. An indescribable mania and killing intent emerged in the depths of his heart. I really want to destroy something at this moment. The ugly face of Konoha villager suddenly appeared in Naruto's mind. The former self was sunk in pain because of them, and yearned for recognition every day. I really want to kill them. Let them feel the pain they have suffered. Little devil, I understand how you feel. You have done nothing wrong, but you are treated like a beast. You are not wrong. It is them who are wrong. It is this Konoha. Your gentleness and elegance are just protective. I can see yours. In your heart, you, like me, hate Konoha. The body of the giant red beast arched, its 9 fiery red tails fluttered, and its bewitching voice echoed throughout the space. Come on, I can give you the power to subvert Konoha. Accept it, accept the truest self, destroy Konoha, kill them all, and make them regret everything they have done to you. Accompanied by hatred words, the giant beast took a step forward, completely exposing its huge body to the light. Seeing this 9-tailed fox full of negative emotions, Naruto immediately understood. No wonder the villagers regard him as a 9-tailed demon fox. No wonder the 3 generations tried their best to control themselves. Because there is indeed a 9-tailed demon fox in his body. Although they don't know the relationship between the 9-tailed demon fox and him, it is certain that the villagers do not know their relationship with the 9-tailed demon fox. And the truth is likely to be in the hands of Konoha's senior management. The villagers are just pawns who let themselves fall into darkness and were rescued by 3 generations. That's stupid. A sneer twitched at the corner of his mouth. After thinking this through, the boiling killing intent in his mind faded like a tide, and the next moment, Naruto returned to his gentle and elegant smile. Huh. Kyuubi lowered his head, looking at the gentle Naruto, surprise flashed across his eyes. He didn't expect Naruto to be free from killing intent in such a short period of time, and to show himself such a gentle, disgusting smile. This smile reminded him of the 4th generation. The man who sealed himself. Little devil, put away your hypocritical smile. Angry in his heart, Kyuubi grabbed the iron gate and roared at Naruto like a sky-shattering roar. The breath out of his mouth even blows Naruto's blonde hair. Still smiling, Naruto stroked his hair gracefully. Are you a 9-tailed demon fox? HMPH, yes, this old man is the 9-tailed demon fox. Those people sealed me into your body in order to control my power. To them, you are just a weapon. No, you are just a container that can be replaced at any time. Kyuubi put away his angry face, and answered without hesitation, but the content was half truth and half false. Little ghost, I know you hate Konoha, hate them for sealing me into your body, hate them for not telling the villagers the truth, and let you live in insults all year round. All of this can be changed. As long as you accept my power and kill them all, the resentment in your heart will be washed away and you will be reborn. Ninetails spoke the words that had been practiced countless times in the sealed space. Hope this will pull Naruto into the abyss. He was looking forward to the scene where the 4th generation saw his only son destroy Konoha. That will definitely be the most exciting and gorgeous scene in the ninja world. As the words fell, the crimson chakra from Kyuubi's body gushed out and sank into Naruto's body, and Naruto's mind once again had a boiling killing intent that was even more terrifying than before. 3 generations of Hokage. You are trying to brainwash Naruto and make him become Konoha's lackey, but you have missed the most critical step. My 9 lamas have been accumulating strength, and I will use the darkness you have drawn to completely degrade Naruto and become my 9 lamas' revenge machine. Kyuubi laughed wildly in his heart, he couldn't wait to see Naruto being dominated by killing intent. But the next moment, his expression froze. In sight, Naruto had a playful smile on his lips. Yu reading www. Uakanshu.com looked at himself jokingly. The killing intent was gone, and even the blood-red chakra faded, replaced by a shining blue light all over his body, and a long knife appeared in his hand. From the long knife, Ninetails felt a huge sense of crisis, his body arched, his hair suddenly exploded, his eyes were shocked and full of fear. Impossible, how could you escape my killing intent? What is this knife? What kind of blood succession limit is this? He subconsciously took a step back and asked with his teeth bared. When he looked at Naruto's tiny body again, Kyuubi's eyes were already full of solemnity. He understood that he underestimated Naruto. Naruto seems to have awakened the incredible blood succession limit. His own chakra is extremely erosive, which cannot be resisted by ordinary blood successor boundaries. This also means that Naruto's blood succession boundaries have been awakened for some time, and he has also mastered blood succession boundaries. Didn't Konoha notice it during this period? Kyuubi felt a chill rushing out of his body. Under the supervision of a ninja, a child of about 5 years old has mastered the unknown limit of blood succession. This is simply chilling. Thank you for telling me part of the truth, it cleared up my confusion. Naruto gently stroked the mirror. The corner of the mouth held a slight curvature. This also explains the attitude of the 3 generations and the villagers towards themselves. This means, I actually have the power of Reiatsu, chakra and 9-tailed demon fox in my body. This will be the help to go to the heights. Only. The 9-tailed demon fox is not his own power. He who is addicted to power derived from others is weak. Chapter 14. The Truth Hidden by Leaves. I'm not interested in your power at all. Naruto put away the gentle smile on his face, revealing a look of disdain. Not interested. Do you know what you're talking about? Hearing Naruto's answer, Kyuubi couldn't believe it at first, then grabbed the iron door angrily and roared. This old man is the 9-tailed demon fox who can overthrow the ninja world. Even if all of you Konoha come out together, I won't get any advantage. I can easily raise Konoha to the ground. Cage-level powerhouses are worthless in front of me. Mention. I am the power that all ninja villages long for. It is also the power that all ninja villages fear. Why do you think Konoha is so peaceful? Because of the old man, other ninja villages can only hold back. Now you tell me that you are not interested in my power. Speaking of this, a finger and nightmare-like words suddenly appeared in Kyuubi's mind. Kyuubi, you are too strong, so you will be sealed. Kyuubi shrank his head subconsciously, and his tone became much weaker. Ahem, of course, there are indeed some perverts in the ninja world who are very strong, but they are all dead. Sure enough, it's just a beast. Naruto chuckled disdainfully. To be honest, a weak baby can become a container that seals your strength. Your words are hard to convince me of your strength. Maybe you are so strong that the villagers of Konoha are afraid of you, and the high-level people of Konoha are eager to control you, but in Konoha's eyes, you are just a weapon after all. They can seal you once, but they can seal you a second time. For them, you can't make waves anymore. Even if I accept your power, so what if I kill recklessly in Konoha? It's nothing more than satisfying the anger and desire deep in my heart. The end I'm waiting for must be repressed. It is said that it is a container that cannot inherit the will of fire, and my fate is obvious, which is death. As for you, you will be sealed in a new container, and you will be tamed day after day without any wildness, and you will become Konoha's running dog. Speaking of this, Naruto sneered and said. He also tried to trick me into making a fuss in Konoha. People who can say such things are either stupid or bad. In simple communication, Naruto understood clearly. Most of what Kyuubi told should be true. I am the 9-tailed container Konoha pays attention to, a weapon of war. This can also explain why Sandai wants to brainwash himself and instill the will of fire. Neither Kyuubi nor Konoha can be trusted, all he can trust is himself. After Naruto finished speaking, the entire sealed space fell into a long silence. Only the slight breathing of Nine Tails echoed quietly. He was furious at first, but soon fell into deep thought. What Naruto said is true. I really have bad intentions, but I don't have the expectation of Naruto destroying Konoha. Although one's own strength is powerful, it is only an individual after all. Konoha has many hidden methods. Although most of the top combat power has withered, it is not something he can compete with. Unimaginable. 5-year-old Naruto is so mature, his thoughts are frighteningly clear. It is said that the authorities are confused, but the bystanders are clear. But Kyuubi felt that Naruto was the bystander who saw Konoha and his tricks clearly. You know he is only 5 years old. Before the combination, it showed the mysterious blood succession limit that even he was afraid of. Kyuubi couldn't help but gasped. Konoha, what kind of terrifying existence are you forcing out? 4 generations, you must never have imagined that your son is so terrifying. Ha 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 ha. Ninetails suddenly raised his head and laughed wildly. This was the happiest he had laughed in recent years, and he laughed so hard that tears flowed. Interesting, interesting, very good. Konoha must not realize how terrifying you are, A kid, I know, I understand. It turned out that Naruto's feelings for Konoha were negative. Elegance and gentleness have always been just his disguise. Kyuubi decides to change strategy. He stopped smiling. Little ghost, you are really interesting, but have you ever thought that since Konoha wants to control my power so much, it means that my power is indeed powerful. If you want to go out of your own way in the future, with your blood following the boundaries is certainly not enough. What do you want to express? Naruto tilted his head. Aren't you learning ninjutsu recently? All you use are the chakras I allocated to you. Compared with my own body chakras, it's not even a drop in the ocean. I can lend you my strength, and even help you become stronger. We are on the same boat. Kyuubi gritted his teeth, revealing an ugly smile that he thought was gentle. Kyuubi is confident that Naruto can't refuse this tempting offer. No, no one can refuse. After all, he is the Nine Tails leader of the tailed beasts, and he possesses the power to subvert a ninja village. Sorry, I'm not interested. Naruto shook his head decisively. After all, you are just a prisoner. The weak are not even qualified to peek into the sky. I am destined to reach the top. Your strength is not qualified to be my help. I'm even less interested in cooperating with a loser. You reading www.uakanshu.com. It was a pleasure talking to you, but goodbye. Naruto turned around resolutely. No matter how furious Kyuubi was, he ignored him, and walked gracefully in the direction he came from. No matter how sweetly the glib Kyuubi says it, Naruto won't fully believe it. After being bewitched by the Nine Tails chakra this time, he was sure. There is definitely Kyuubi's impetus behind my various ninjutsu failures today. The fiery red chakra full of violent aura seemed familiar. Naruto remembers feeling a similar chakra when he tried ninjutsu today. This kind of chakra is not only difficult to control, but can even interfere with one's own chakra, resulting in the failure of ninjutsu. This means that his ninjutsu talent is actually not bad, but it has been interfered by Kyuubi. This Nine Tails is bad. Therefore, the words and promises cannot be trusted. Besides, this Nine Tails has revealed too much information in such a short period of time, and its temper is also so violent. It is enough to see that it is a violent beast with a bad brain. Isn't cooperating with this kind of guy digging a hole for himself. So Naruto decisively rejected Kyuubi's proposal and chose to leave. Stay away from the Iron Gate and concentrate on leaving the space. The next moment, Naruto's consciousness fell into a coma again, returning to reality and falling into a deep sleep. Nine Tails let out a roar of contempt in the sealed space. Impotent rage behind iron gates. Naruto Uzumaki. You will regret it. You will definitely regret it. Naruto tore off the coat of his own packaging bloody, revealing the essence. He, Nine Tails, is just a prisoner. Chapter 15. New one day. In the morning, Naruto woke up from his sleep. He stretched himself, feeling refreshed. Everything that happened in the sealed space yesterday is still vivid in my memory. Nine-tailed demon fox, he murmured softly, showing a strategizing smile. The first communication with Kyuubi was not pleasant. The violent Nine Tails is full of malice and wants to influence him all the time. It even interfered with his own control of chakra. Naruto is not sure that he can get rid of the interference of Nine Tails chakra, and perhaps his own chakra practice will also be difficult in the future. But at least he has figured out his life experience and the reason why he is hated by the villagers. It's just a beast. Naruto got off the bed and spread the quilt. He felt surprisingly good mentally. Start calling Aizen in your mind. Mr. Aizen. What's the matter? Aizen's gentle voice sounded in his mind, and Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. Mr. Aizen, so you are still here. Hearing Naruto's words, Aizen frowned immediately, keenly aware that Naruto seemed to be a little different today. The tone was a little rejoicing. Naruto's next sentence solved the question in Aizen's heart. Mr. Lanran, I saw a nine-tailed demon fox last night. Naruto simply told Aizen about meeting Kyuubi, and the latter fell into deep thought. From the mouths of the villagers, we can know that the nine-tailed demon fox has the ability to destroy Konoha, but such a powerful existence is still sealed in Naruto's body by Konoha. It seems that Konoha is not as weak as he thought. It's a pity that I can't get in touch with the nine-tailed demon fox in person. The ninja world became interesting all of a sudden. Today you will continue to practice the control of ninjutsu and reiatsu, and you will be able to get in touch with ghosts in a few days. I got a lot of information today, and Aizen didn't want to continue chatting, so I stopped the topic immediately and prepared to think about it. Ghost Way. I can finally learn Ghost Way. Naruto's eyes were full of excitement. Kido is similar to ninjutsu, and it also condenses reiatsu into different forms of attack, defense, and auxiliary methods through specific means. It's just that ninjutsu needs to pass the knot seal, and Ghost Way needs to pass the chant. Half a year ago, Naruto was fortunate enough to see the ghost road used by Aizen in the sealed space. At that time, he was attracted by the complicated and obscure chanting spells that he didn't understand. During the past year, he has been working hard to wrest the control method of reiatsu, and he is looking forward to one day being able to start the practice of Ghost Dao. This moment has finally arrived. Containing excitement and anticipation, Naruto quickly made himself a hearty breakfast. A slice of toast, 2 sun-dried eggs, and a little soy sauce. This is a simple breakfast Naruto saw in a cookbook. After trying it once, I found that it tastes good and is rich in nutrition, so I often prepare the same breakfast. Save time and effort, but also delicious. Naruto understands the importance of daily nutrition because he has read a lot of books about the ***** of death, so even if the funds are tight, he will try his best to find good ingredients. He is very skilled in making fishing traps and hunting. After breakfast, Naruto put aside distracting thoughts and continued to practice Sanshenjutsu. He wanted to confirm his inner guess again. Not mudra, which controls the flow of chakra in the body. Avatar technique. The moment Naruto cast the 3-body technique, Naruto was keenly aware that the red 9-tailed chakra began to interfere with his own chakra. Although this chakra is very secretive, it is also a negligible disturbance. But the operation of human chakra is very precise, even a little disturbance will lead to the failure of ninjutsu. Bang! There was smoke. Naruto turned his head, and standing beside him was a fat, sausage-mouthed, Uzumaki Naruto. Bang! Naruto punched his clone with a deadpan expression, his eyes full of danger. 9-tailed demon fox, well done, you've done well. He gritted his teeth and said to himself. Ha 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 ha. Smelly brat, call you a cow, ha ha ha, there is an old man here, don't try to use an ninjutsu, ha ha ha, the old man will make you finally kneel down and cry for mercy, I will stretch out the soles of my feet for you a chance to kiss your toes. Ninetails was rolling with laughter in the sealed space. Then he started talking to himself. With the old man's interference, you brat can't become a good ninja. I am waiting for the day when you kneel down and beg for mercy, even if you are thoughtful, you are nothing more than a brat. Juwei snorted coldly and began to count silently. I count to 5 seconds. If you come in and apologize to me within 5 seconds, I can forgive you and still provide you with the conditions of cooperation before. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 3. Kyuubi began to count in the sealed space, but only counted for a few minutes, but still stayed at 5 seconds. His face also gradually distorted, baring his teeth. Finally, an angry roar echoed in the sealed space. You reading www.uakanshu.com. You bastard, do you think this is cool? You'll regret it. I'll do my best to interfere with you, don't even think about becoming a ninja. On what it's like to have an outrageous tenant in your body. Naruto came to the training ground, held the mirror flower Suigetsu expressionlessly and began to train the chopping technique. Under the interference of 9 tails, the control of chakra is tens of millions of times more difficult than before. But if Naruto can still master the perfect 3-body technique under such a difficult situation, it means that his control over chakra has reached an astonishing level. Once the 9 tails interference disappears, the accumulated training results will explode in a blowout, and learning other ninjutsu will also be more effective with less effort. Knowing this, Naruto will not give up practicing ninjutsu. But every time he failed ninjutsu, the ugly face of Kyuubi couldn't help appearing in his mind, grinning as if laughing at himself. Even though Naruto is very mature, he is still a child after all. Really upset. Thinking of this, Naruto's speed and strength of swinging the knife became a bit heavier. He stared at a boulder in front of him, a sharp look flashed in his eyes, and the next moment, the momentum of his body exploded. The flower in the mirror and the moon in the water turned into a cold light and slashed away fiercely. The invisible saber energy erupted from the mirror, and quickly rushed towards the boulder. Bang! Under the impact of the saber energy, the boulder burst from the inside to the outside, and the inside exploded with a bang, and the broken stones flew in an instant. Naruto retracted the knife gracefully, showing a relieved smile. It worked. The practice of chopping has finally reached the small goal ordered by Aizen. Then, it's ghosts. Chapter 16. Uchiha Family. In the forest of the Konoha training ground, the sunlight passed through the gaps in the layers of leaves, and fell on the figure dappledly. Ghost Dao is an advanced spell commonly used by the god of death. It is divided into 3 types: breaking Dao, binding Dao, and reversing Dao, corresponding to destruction, control, and assistance. The ghost path is composed of spirit particles, and different sorts represent different ghost paths. Through the guidance of chanting, the use of the ghost way can be made smoother, but for some powerful reapers, the ghost way can be released without chanting. Under Aizen's teaching, Naruto finally came into contact with the ghost way he had been thinking about. However, the rudimentary ghost way he just came into contact with does not require specific chanting spells. I saw Naruto standing upright, with one hand raised flat, and his fingertips pointed at the boulder. The spiritual pressure in the body flows slowly and gathers at the fingertips. This ability to control the spiritual pressure is so smooth, it is not as difficult as practicing ninjutsu. One of the broken paths, go. A white light appeared from the fingertips and disappeared in a flash, leaving a shallow trace on the rock. It didn't hurt, but at least it succeeded. Naruto's small face was filled with a smile. He had already forgotten that this was the first few attempts, and he was finally able to use the basic ghost way correctly. Keep working hard until you master it. Naruto's confidence increased greatly. With the setback of the previous ninjutsu failure, now a little progress in the ghost way will bring him great confidence. In the sealed space, Aizen watched Naruto's progress in cultivating ghosts, his eyes flickering. In a short period of time, Naruto's Shinigami talent is really amazing, no, terrifying. For Naruto, it seems that there is no bottleneck in the practice of Onido, Zanjutsu and Reiatsu. As long as he continues to practice, he can improve steadily. Much like my former self. Naruto is like the son of luck in the ninja world. He has a sealed space, gets his own help, and has a 9-tailed fox in his body. Unsurprisingly, Naruto can still use the power of 9 tails in the future. I believe that even without the power of death, he can become a strong one. Compared with those guys in the 46th room who were sitting on vegetarian meals, Naruto is undoubtedly the king. He has the qualifications to be invested by himself. Maybe in the future, he can really grow up to a day where he can enjoy himself to the fullest. Seeing the ghost he released, Naruto withdrew his finger somewhat unsatisfied. Although the damage from the ghost way is not enough, but you must know that he has just started learning the ghost way not long ago. I believe that with more training, he will be able to fully grasp the ghost way. Naruto is very satisfied with his current situation. He has a nice house, enough supplies, and even a friend like Rock Lee and a wise teacher like Aizen. Compared with the lonely and hopeless self a few years ago, the current self is very good. Naruto's expression calmed down, and then he revealed a perfect smile. Because of this, he must not show any flaws. For his own purposes, he must show the Naruto Uzumaki that everyone wants to see. Since going to ninja school, the interaction between Naruto and Rock Lee has decreased. In order to get off to a good start, Rock Lee deliberately stopped the training for the past few days, and concentrated on reviewing what he learned every day and chakra refining at home. Naruto also returned to the days of training alone. In addition to ninjutsu and chakra training, there are also slashing and ghosts. The time of practice is like a white horse passing by. In the past few days, Naruto has become more and more proficient in the practice of ghost way and slashing technique. It's just that chakra's practice is like being stuck in a quagmire, unable to move an inch. At this moment, he is practicing chopping in the training ground. I saw him holding a knife in both hands, standing in the training ground without moving, his eyes closed, and his whole body fell into a mysterious state. The breeze blows gently, with the fragrance of green grass lingering around. Naruto's sense of existence is indifferent, as if he is integrated with the training ground. The watching ninja's heart was shaken, and he even accidentally revealed the slightest chakra fluctuation, but he quickly returned to his original state in an instant. Standing in the center, Naruto remained motionless, surrounded by Reiatsu. When a fallen leaf fell, Naruto suddenly opened his eyes with sharp eyes. The mirror flower and water moon suddenly turned into a phantom and passed by. Crack. Putting away the knife, Naruto heaved a sigh of relief. The falling leaves burst from it and were perfectly divided into 4 equal parts. At the moment when the leaves fell, Naruto made 4 swords, accurately and quickly. Naruto has an unimaginable understanding of slashing. During this year, his chopping technique has improved by leaps and bounds. It is no exaggeration to say that he can kill an adult in an instant. It's just that I haven't fought against ninjas, so I don't know my true strength. In addition to cutting techniques, his understanding of the ghost way is also advancing by leaps and bounds. His spiritual pressure is also rising steadily. According to Aizen's words, there are already 3 seats. And the most troublesome thing for Naruto is chakra training in Shunpo. If you want to learn Shunpo, you need to have excellent physical fitness. Even if Naruto didn't stop physical exercise, it would be impossible to use Shunpo now. As Naruto's exercise intensity increases, so does the need for nutrients. The consequence of this is that Naruto's living expenses are not enough to afford the high cost of ingredients. Naruto didn't ask Sandai for help. Because the 3 generations have been relatively generous, it is impossible to give more living expenses. Fortunately, Naruto has read many books, reading www.uakanshu.com, so he found mushrooms, fungus, and even ginseng in the field of Konoha to supplement the huge consumption of his daily practice. At this moment, Naruto suddenly heard the sound of a branch being trampled, his eyes froze, the spiritual pressure poured out of his body, and he yelled angrily at the place where the sound came from. Soon, a boy in white walked out trembling. Under the pressure of Reiatsu, his teeth were even colliding. This clothes. Naruto noticed that the boy's white clothes had a Uchiha fan pattern on it, which was the symbol of the Uchiha family. Naruto put away the Reiatsu, and the latter suddenly collapsed and sat on the ground. Why peek? Naruto asked. Peeping. This is a public place, I'm just passing by. Uchiha Sasuke got up in shock, shocked by the scene he saw before. The boy in front of him, who was about the same age as him, not only possessed terrifying sword skills, but the overflowing temperament and eyes actually made his body start to tremble. I am a proud Uchiha clan, so I can feel the emotion of fear. Sasuke couldn't bear the pathetic emotions that arose in his heart, so he raised his head proudly. Your strength is not bad. After saying this, Sasuke turned his head, his old face flushed. This is the first time I have said such a compliment, and it is an unexpected shame. The Uchiha clan started out as a big family that kept pace with the Hyuga clan. It is said that Sharingan is one of the most powerful blood successors in Konoha. It's just that the Uchiha people are very proud and not easy to get along with others. This is what Naruto learned. Hi, my name is Uzumaki Naruto, I'm reckless in front, sorry. Naruto introduced himself with a gentle smile. Chapter 17, Sasuke Uchiha. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke felt a little embarrassed after receiving Naruto's apology. Because he did peek for a little while before. After introducing himself, Sasuke stood there awkwardly, not knowing what to do or say. Although he looks cold, he is just a curious little boy. He grew up under the wing of his parents and his older brother, who was a genius who showed extraordinary talent from an early age. In such an environment, Sasuke began various ninja-related trainings since he was a child. It can be said that compared with his peers, he is far ahead of the starting line. But even so, he couldn't resist Naruto's leaked Reiatsu. He was very curious about Naruto, and even felt a little unwilling in his heart. He has always considered himself the most outstanding boy of Konoha's age. But now it has been completely compared. How can you be so strong? After hesitating for a moment, he asked hesitantly. After asking, a blush appeared on his face, and he turned his head in embarrassment, not daring to look at Naruto again. Naruto once heard Konoha villagers talk about Uchiha in secret, saying that Uchiha is very arrogant and usually ignores people, and the Konoha guard they belong to is even more ruthless and acts according to the law. There is no human touch at all. It can be said that the Uchiha clan's reputation in Konoha is not good, and it can even be called bad. It's just that Sasuke didn't give Naruto the feeling that he was hard to touch, but rather like a tsundere little boy. This Uchiha seems to be very interested in power. Interesting boy. Naruto smiled in his eyes. Because I practice every day, I can become stronger. This familiar scene is very similar to the scene when I met Shaoli back then. It should be good for me if I can fool this Uchiha kid into practicing together. It is said that the Uchiha clan is very rich and has many ninjutsu. Although Naruto's chakra control is not very good, he still has expectations for ninjutsu. After all, Kyuubi may cancel interference with chakra in the future. Practice. I have been practicing with my brother. But Sasuke frowned. He didn't want to admit that his talent was not as good as Naruto's guess. Reluctantly asked, what was that before? Is it your chakra? Why is there such a strong sense of oppression? Is it murderous? Have you killed someone? Sasuke once heard from his brother that all truly powerful ninjas have been baptized by blood. They are good at killing skills, and at the same time, because of killing, they condense their murderous aura. The invisible murderous aura can make ordinary people lose their fighting power in an instant, or even collapse. Sasuke couldn't imagine the pressure Naruto had brought to him before, and he couldn't even move. And Naruto looked about the same age as him, but he condensed a murderous look. No matter how you think about it, it's unrealistic. No, that's not murderous intent, you can understand it as a method used by chakra. Naruto said with a slight smile. The use of chakra. That's right, gather chakra around your body and combine it with your own aura to form a sense of oppression similar to murderous aura. Naruto explained patiently, because I practice chopping, my own sword posture and chakra can form oppression, sense. Fortunately, the nature of Reiatsu and chakra are similar, so chakra can be used to prevaricate. Sasuke looked at Naruto with a look of envy, and wanted to ask about the cultivation method, but he was too embarrassed to ask. Most of the Uchiha clan are quite proud, and so is Sasuke. No, it's more arrogant than arrogant. Naruto saw Sasuke's embarrassment, and took the initiative to say. I'm going back first. If you're interested, how about training here at noon tomorrow? Hearing this, Sasuke was overjoyed and nodded calmly, but the smile on the corner of his mouth could no longer be hidden. Alright, I will also show you the proud ninjutsu of our Uchiha clan. After speaking, he proudly raised his little head. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Naruto nodded with a smile, said goodbye to Sasuke and left the training ground. Watching Naruto's leaving back, Sasuke was in a daze. Naruto is probably the first person of his age to communicate with. For a long time, their Uchiha clan has done their part, the Konoha guard. But for some reason, the villagers always responded to them with hostility. Coupled with the arrogance of the Uchiha clan itself, they don't want to explain, and don't bother to explain. Over time, the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha became more and more awkward. When other villagers saw Uchiha, they also avoided it as if they saw the ***** of plague. Even these Uchiha children rarely have friends. Sasuke has heard of Uzumaki Naruto, and it is said that he is regarded as a nine-tailed demon fox and suffers worse treatment than Uchiha. To some extent, they are sympathetic and lonely. But at the same time, Naruto was also the first non-Uchiha to show him such a gentle and sincere smile. Thinking of Naruto Sunshine's smiling face, Sasuke suddenly felt healed. How did he manage to be hurt and still smile? He murmured. In the Uchiha mansion at night. Sasuke's family sat around the big table, and his mother Uchiha Makoto served exquisite dishes. The whole family enjoyed themselves. Itachi, how are you doing? Uchiha Fugaku asked. You reading www.uakanshu.com. Everything is as usual, but I'm a bit busy and don't have time to accompany Sasuke. Itachi fondly rubbed Sasuke's hedgehog head. Where's Sasuke? I met a very. Sasuke tilted his head and thought about the adjectives in the training ground today, and added, a very powerful person, a genius. Genius. Uchiha Itachi suddenly became interested. This is the first time he heard such a high praise from his younger brother. Yes, his name is Uzumaki Naruto, and he is about my age. Sasuke nodded. Naruto Uzumaki. Could it be Kushina's? Fuyu and Makoto looked at each other. The Fuyu couple and the Kushina family were good friends during their lifetime, and the two sides became close. It's just that after the death of the fourth generation, Naruto was controlled by the third generation, and the Uchiha clan was targeted, so there was no time, and they didn't even dare to intervene in Naruto's affairs. Faced with everything that Naruto encountered, their hearts were naturally angry. The fourth generation used their lives to seal the nine tails in Naruto's body, hoping that Naruto could grow up as the son of a hero. Unexpectedly, Naruto has been born in water and fire. Fuyu could not intervene, but he would not deliberately prevent Sasuke and Naruto from approaching. On the contrary, the guilt in my heart hopes that Sasuke and Naruto will become close friends. I'm very curious to be called a genius by Sasuke. Uchiha Itachi smiled at this time. Sasuke told what he saw today, and finally concluded, tomorrow I will train with him, and I want to see how special his training method is. Can it directly affect Sasuke's aura? Uchiha Fugaku's eyes were surprised. It seems Naruto has inherited Minato's talents and he will be a very strong ninja. Chapter 18. Revenge with Kindness. Back home, after a simple wash, Naruto opened the chakra-related books to review again. Originally he was not a person who liked to read, but under Aizen's teaching, he gradually understood the importance of knowledge. In addition to force, wisdom is also a part that cannot be ignored. He once heard Lan Ran say, the sharpness of the weapon is important, but if you don't have a brain, the sharpness will hurt yourself instead. Naruto read the book quietly for an hour. For him, this hour is not only a time for reviewing, but also a chance to calm down and review everything he has done. With the experience of the past few days, he also roughly understood the conspiracy that happened to him. Now the most troublesome thing for him is Nine Tails. Naruto put down the book, sighed, and skillfully formed seals. Avatar technique. Amidst the smog, a strangely shaped human appeared in front of Naruto. Naruto blasted his clone with a punch, with a perfect smile on his face. Kyuubi is still seriously disturbing his own chakra. Since you are unkind, don't blame me for being unrighteous, let's suffer together. Tick-tock. The familiar sound of water dripping from the sealed space resounded again. Naruto opened his eyes, only to see darkness, and the corners of his mouth curled up in a cold arc. He patted the non-existent dust on his body, and walked slowly towards the iron gate. The moment Naruto entered the sealed space, Kyuubi sensed it, he smiled disdainfully, closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. He is not as stupid as those humans think. He has been dormant for the past few years, using his red chakra to continuously erode this sealed space. Although the effect is minimal, it does work, and perhaps in the next few decades he will be able to completely escape the cage of Uzumaki Naruto. It's just that while interfering, Naruto's chakra control will also be greatly reduced, resulting in the inability to perfectly complete ninjutsu. Naruto, a stinky kid, didn't even disdain his own power before, but he didn't know that he couldn't even become a ninja because he couldn't control chakra. I'd like to see what you kid will beg me. Kyuubi couldn't help but feel proud. Slap. Naruto's footsteps stopped in front of the iron gate. Stop pretending, I know you're awake. Naruto's gentle voice rang in Kyuubi's ear. Kyuubi didn't answer, scratched the side of his face with his paws, and said to himself, where did the mosquito come from, it's strange. Oh, what is that brat Uzumaki Naruto doing? The old man fell asleep, is chakra still working? It's still disturbing, this mosquito is very annoying, let's increase the amount of chakra. Red chakra overflowed from Nine Tails' body, permeating the sealed space. Seeing this scene, Naruto was not angry, but a smile appeared in his eyes. It's interesting to play this trick with me, isn't it? He has read many books about the reality of the world of death, and he understands that for a prisoner who has been imprisoned for a long time, his every day is boring. Even in the dark sealed space, the mental state is easy to collapse, perhaps this is one of the reasons why Kyuubi is so violent. For him, he is undoubtedly an outlet for his emotions. Kyuubi, who has long been eager to socialize, must be impatient to communicate with himself in various forms. Naruto sat down on the cold ground, pretending not to care, and said to himself, this sealed space is really small, you are also an animal, how can you solve it by eating and drinking? Why does it smell? Nine Tails, do you know shower? Sorry, I forgot that you can't take a shower at all. The first characteristic of prisoners, life is inconvenient. Hearing this, Ninetales snorted coldly and shrugged his nose. Smell. Where is the smell? Naruto was not in a hurry. He used spiritual pressure to condense a grill, skewered the chicken wings, and grilled them on the fire. Suddenly I'm a little hungry, let's have some barbecue. Sprinkle some cumin and chili powder, and even use spiritual pressure to condense the fan, and fan the fragrance behind the iron gate where Kyuubi is. Juwei's nose moved wildly, and his Adam's apple twitched. Under the grilling of natural charcoal fire, every fiber of the chicken is dancing, perfectly wrapped with the aroma of charcoal fire. The surface of the chicken is roasted crispy by the high fire, and the gravy inside is also locked. Juice. Really fragrant. Naruto kept flipping the grilled chicken wings, and the aroma kept drilling into Kyuubi's nose, which could be said to be pervasive. The second characteristic of prisoners is greediness. Damn brat. Kyuubi pinched his nose with his paws, saliva secreting frantically from his mouth. In the sealed space, he doesn't need to eat or drink, but he definitely retains the memory of eating delicious food before. When he is free, he sometimes looks for some game in the forest. The fragrance now is hundreds of times, no, 10,000 times more delicious than the delicious ones he tasted before. Smelly brat, your skewers stink to death, get out of here. Kyuubi said angrily. Naruto ignored it and continued to repeat the grilling posture. Prisoners have been imprisoned for a long time, and they will have a great desire for food. Once this desire is aroused, it will be out of control. For the prisoners, the most painful thing is that they can't see but can't eat. Don't you like to interfere with my chakra control? I'll let you experience the feeling that life is worse than death. Naruto turned the skewer gracefully, thinking viciously. A pair of grilled wings doubles the happiness. Such delicious food should be shared. You reading www.uakanshu.com, he muttered loudly. HMPH, brat, do you think my uncle would like this kind of low-level food? Let me tell you, my uncle has tasted too many delicacies. In my opinion, this little thing of yours is rubbish. I know, so it's for me to eat. A high-end monster like you will naturally have the food that you should enjoy. How can you look down on mortal food? Naruto blew on the skewers. Kyuubi stuffed the skewers into his mouth with his pupils tearing apart. While eating, he commented, the taste is not bad. Gulu. Naruto seemed to hear the sound of a creature swallowing saliva. His perfect and elegant smile could hardly hold back, and he wanted to let out a smirk. But Naruto knew that it was not enough just to torture his appetite. He wants to completely break Ninetales physically and mentally. So he used Reiatsu to create a computer inside the Iron Gate. Goodbye, Ninetales, I hope you can learn to behave better when we meet next time. Before leaving, he seemed to think of something, turned his head and added. By the way, isn't Sanshenjutsu a basic ninjutsu? Why is it so difficult to practice? After speaking, he showed a meaningful smile and disappeared into the sealed space. What kind of tricks is the stinky brat playing? After Naruto left, Kyuubi turned around and muttered, his eyes were attracted by the weird machine. A square, TV-like object, next to a mouse-like object and a rectangular plate and cylinder. What are these? Ninetales approached curiously, poking its claws wildly. I don't know what kind of square object was poked, it suddenly lit up, and the word, window, appeared. Chapter 19. Internet Addiction Evil Fox Building Project. Hiss, is this little thing weird? Could it be a detonator? Wouldn't this brat want to blow up this place? He's too naive. The sealed space cannot be blown up with a simple detonating talisman. But he can conjure objects out of thin air in the sealed space. HMPH, it seems that I still underestimate him. Ninetales was talking to himself, pointing around the computer with its huge claws. A desktop appeared on the computer screen, and several icons on it attracted Juwei's attention. He took a closer look. Originally, he was illiterate, but after staying in the body of his predecessor Renjuli for more than 10 years, he could read some words. My computer, recycle bin, Pokemon Fire Red. Ninetales read out the icon, with question marks all over his head. What are these? Kyuubi, who had been bored for decades, started to delve into it immediately, as if meeting a beloved toy. Soon, he discovered that the little mouse-like prop could manipulate the pointer on the screen. He immediately shrunk down, covered the mouse with the fox's paw, and clicked various icons in a strange way. Finally, with an accidental double click, he clicked on the game, Pokemon. As soon as the screen went black, a streaming game interface appeared, accompanied by cheerful game music. In the dim sealed space, a fiery red fox sat in front of the computer, manipulating the mouse and keyboard intently, and began his journey to subdue the elves. An old man's voice came from the computer. Welcome to the world of elves. Elves are lively, cheerful, spiritual creatures. I am Dr. Oki. HMPH, childish style of painting, this kind of creature old man eats one bite at a time. Ninetales muttered dissatisfiedly. Choose 3 at the beginning. HMPH, I'm already invincible with just one. Since it's a game, let's choose a subordinate, and it's up to you, Charmander. If you are confident in being a dragon, you should have some skills. I will allow you to help the old man fight the country. Hiss. This elf looks very powerful, how to subdue it and throw the elf ball. Failed. Damn it. Damn it. If the old man is here, there is no need to throw the ball, so much trouble, just standing there, countless elves will come to surrender. Yaxi is very good. You have successfully conquered it. Follow the old man to fight the world, your choice is very wise. HMPH, this little thing is quite interesting. It seems that the stinky brat has softened. Since you performed so well, I will reduce the interference a little bit. If you apologize to me personally, kneel down and beg for forgiveness, I will make you a ninja. Kyuubi muttered to himself. Seriously, in the game, this little bird is so weak, just kill it. Weak people are not qualified to be my subordinates. Gymnasium. Huh, this kind of rookie is just easy to catch. Ah. Bastard, you brat, how dare you insult this old man. Not long after, Ninetales' extremely angry roar resounded in the sealed space. The challenge interface of the owner of the first gymnasium was stuck, with a sentence written on it. Fox, if you behave well, I will play the next plot for you. Naruto, who left the sealed space, showed a strange smile. This is called repaying grievances with virtue. Even though you Kyuubi hurt me thousands of times, I Uzumaki Naruto still treats you like first love. Not only let you enjoy the aroma of barbecue, but also bring you a game experience beyond the ninja world. Just ask, besides myself, who else has such an open mind? Naruto learned from various information in the world of the of death that there is an invisible disease more terrifying than viruses in the world, internet addiction. The patient does not think about food and drink, looks like a walking dead, with a thin face, and life is worse than death. As long as he leaves the computer, the whole person will lose his will, become crazy, and feel restless. Only when he sits back in front of the computer will he return to his normal appearance. It is said that there are countless obsessive games in that small computer. I believe Kyuubi, who has been lonely for a long time, will definitely like it. Kyuubi is so lonely in the sealed space, naturally, as the landlord, he will not sit idly by. Soon. After the night passed, Naruto got up from the bed, feeling refreshed. After a simple wash and breakfast, he was dressed and walked towards Konoha Street. The ingredients at home are no longer enough. Dressed in a white robe, the handsome Naruto walked into the street. Only this time is very different from the past. The original bustling street has not changed, and the villagers still keep talking without looking at Naruto. Naruto's character design this year has been quite effective. At least for now, most villagers will choose to ignore it. The vicious expletives of the past are hardly audible now either. As for those brats, now I see Naruto walking around. Naruto bought some vegetables and meat, greeted Mrs. Tanaka, and then walked home. After placing all the ingredients, he made a simple bento, and then walked towards the training ground. He had an agreement to train with Sasuke yesterday, and he was full of curiosity about the wealthy family Uchiha. Naruto didn't know this, the scene of his contact with Sasuke yesterday had been known by the third generation, and even sparked a controversy. The last 3 generations decided to wait and see what happened. If the Uchiha clan coveted Naruto, he would immediately take thunderous countermeasures. In the training ground, Sasuke arrived as scheduled. He saw Naruto holding a dark green long knife, standing under the howling autumn wind, as if he was integrated with the environment when he first met. Sword skills. Sasuke muttered to himself. The Uchiha family has sword skills, but Uchiha, who relies too much on his eyes, is not interested in this kind of practice. Moreover, the ninja itself also has weapons such as kunai and detonating charms, and there is no longsword at all. Yu reading www.uakanshu.com. But as the saying goes, there are no garbage weapons, only garbage ninjas. On Naruto, Sasuke felt the sharp sword intent. His little head didn't know how to describe that aura, he only knew that he couldn't stop the knife. Sasuke, you're here. At this moment, Naruto put down his knife, looked in Sasuke's direction, and said with a smile. Good morning, Naruto. Sasuke greeted Naruto politely. Sasuke in this period was still living in a honeypot, the carefree Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto. Sasuke took a deep breath, as if he had something to say. In the past, he always thought that he was the second genius of the Uchiha clan, and there was absolutely no one stronger than himself among his peers. He has always believed so firmly that he, who inherits Uchiha's blood, will open his eyes one day, and will not disappoint his brother and parents' expectations of him. Until he met Naruto, who was elegant and gentle, but strong to the point of terror. Facing his coercion, he didn't even have the courage to fight. But, I am a proud Uchiha. I can't fall into the name of Uchiha. A flicker of struggle flashed in Sasuke's eyes. Naruto, please come with me. Before he could finish speaking, the saber chi slashed across, leaving bottomless marks on the boulder in front of Naruto. Sasuke's pupils shrank suddenly, and he suddenly felt a little dry. It's not the first time I've seen it, but I'm still shocked every time I see it. He took a deep breath again, summoned up his courage, and shouted to Naruto, Naruto, please fight me, I want to know how far we are. Chapter 20. Depressed Lee. Just right, I also want to know the strength of the genius of the Uchiha clan. Naruto showed a gentle smile. He didn't refuse Sasuke's challenge. It stands to reason that Sasuke has the resources of the Uchiha clan, and he started chakra practice very early, and even taught by ninjas. The starting point will not be lower than himself, and may even be higher. Such an opponent can give Naruto a more accurate assessment of his talent and strength. This is the first time he has fought against someone from a big family, and Naruto is very cautious. Go. Sasuke approached Naruto at a very fast speed the moment Sasuke finished speaking. Punch out. As expected of the Uchiha clan, they have such speed at such an age. Naruto's calm eyes fluctuated slightly, and he opened his right hand, and easily grabbed the surprise fist under Sasuke's shocked gaze. It's a pity, in front of my eyes, it's still a little bit worse. It's my turn to attack. Naruto swung hard, and Sasuke's body flew backwards uncontrollably. The next moment, Sasuke felt that Naruto had appeared in front of him. It was also punched out. Compared with Sasuke, Naruto's punch looked light and ethereal. Sasuke subconsciously raised his arms to block the punch. However, when this punch landed on both arms, Sasuke's face was terrified. Bang! Sasuke's body flew backwards at a faster speed as if hit by a full-speed train. Sasuke, who was flying upside down, looked full of disbelief. How is this possible? Naruto is obviously the same age as him, how could he have such terrifying power? How did he practice? Sasuke's body flew back a certain distance, and did not stop until it hit a big tree. In the dust, Sasuke stood up painfully, his legs were shaking because of the pain. Although he had actual battles with his elder brother, Itachi, because of the attribute of favoring his younger brother, Itachi was merciful, and it was more of a blow of pampering. It's like Naruto's punch that beats someone far away. The contrast was too great, and he was a little confused. Sasuke, are you okay? Naruto withdrew his fist, and shouted at Sasuke with a little too much force in his heart. I can still fight. Sasuke patted the dust, the pain on his body reduced a lot, so he attacked Naruto again. This time, Naruto suppressed most of his strength, and fought back and forth with Sasuke. It's just that there is no joy in Sasuke's heart, but more frustration. Facing his seemingly vicious attacks, Naruto could dodge them all just by turning sideways slightly. But his physical strength is rapidly depleting. After a few minutes, Sasuke was already out of breath, but Naruto was still calm. It is enough to see the gap between the two sides. It's a far cry from physical skills alone. Sasuke felt bitter in his heart. He took a step back unwillingly, with a serious expression on his face. Naruto, please do your best next time. I will use ninjutsu. I can't control it perfectly yet. Be careful, you may get hurt. If you want to say that the most famous Uchiha clan, apart from Sharingan, is Huadun. Sasuke naturally also mastered the elementary level of fire escape, but he was not proficient enough. Ninjutsu. Naruto and Aizen inside were both interested. Apart from Sanshenjutsu, they have never seen other ninjutsu. That's right, be careful. Sasuke had a solemn face, and his hands quickly formed seals. The printing speed is much faster than Naruto's. It is indeed a genius of the big family. Fire escape, the art of fireball. The next moment, a scorching fireball shot out from his mouth, crossed an arc, and hit Naruto. The power is too small, there is no reference value. Lan Ran was disappointed and fell into silence. It looks very powerful, so let me show a little bit of strength. Naruto raised the mirror flower and cut it off with a knife. Under Sasuke's stunned gaze, the fireball was chopped into pieces, and fragments of sparks scattered all over the ground. You are really strong, Sasuke, this is the most powerful ninjutsu I have ever seen. Naruto said in conviction. Sasuke looked at the broken Mars, the corners of his mouth twitching slightly. I always feel that Naruto's compliments are just polite words. Sasuke was somewhat reconciled in his heart. He was a genius from the Uchiha clan, but he lost to the commoner Uzumaki Naruto. The proud Uchiha did not allow himself to lose so miserably. After resting for a while, Sasuke challenged Naruto again. Due to the lack of chakra, he can only use physical skills. Sasuke's physical skills can't even be compared with Rock Lee, let alone fighting with Naruto. He was knocked into the air again and again, and he was re-engaged again and again. In the process of being beaten, his physical skills were also constantly improving, and he even began to imitate Naruto's attack methods. All this made Naruto very pleased. This at least proves that Sasuke is fighting with his brain. Finally, Sasuke fell to the ground due to exhaustion. He panted wildly, but his eyes were filled with joy. He could feel that his physical skills had improved by leaps and bounds. He looked at Naruto, but was shocked to find that Naruto was only panting slightly, not even sweating. The gap is too big. Sasuke smiled helplessly. You reading www.uakanshu.com. Why didn't he know that Naruto was suppressing his own strength and improving himself by putting pressure on himself? Although Sasuke didn't say this feeling, he remembered it in his heart. To be able to use such ninjutsu at this age, Uchiha Sasuke is very talented. Naruto's eyes were deep. After the battle, the relationship between the two seemed to be a little closer. They sat under the tree and chatted. Sure enough, as Naruto expected, Sasuke is the second son of the Uchiha patriarch, and his elder brother is known as the first genius of the Uchiha clan for several years. He has joined Anbu at a young age and has unimaginable power. Although Sasuke is also a genius, he is still worse than Itachi. Naruto. At this moment, Rock Lee, who hadn't seen him for a long time, walked into the forest with a dejected expression on his face. If Rock Lee was a hot-blooded young man in the past, he is undoubtedly like a walking dead now, losing all fighting spirit. This was the first time Naruto saw Rock Lee like this, and he frowned immediately. He didn't want the person he fancied to show such a dejected expression. Long time no see, Xiao Li. Naruto showed a gentle smile, and introduced Xiao Li to Sasuke. Sasuke, he is my friend, Rock Lee. Xiao Li, this is Sasuke Uchiha, a friend I met yesterday. Uchiha. Xiao Li squeezed out a forced smile, and greeted Sasuke. Hi, my name is Rock Lee. But he sighed in his heart, feeling a little melancholy inexplicably. Sure enough, a shining genius like Naruto also made friends with members of wealthy families. Compared with them, I am really far behind. Thinking of this, Rock Lee became even more depressed. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.